Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto was the son of Queen Goddess Percy Jackson. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Roman Trooper and link in description and support writer. Let's start the video. Sally Jackson hummed as she walked up the steps of the New York Academy for Young Women. Her sweet un-America uniform ruffled in the breeze. As she entered, she thought about the fact that the headmistresses of the school was letting her son learn at the all-girls school. Her dear childhood friend met her as she went through the door of the school by surprising her with a hug. She was wearing a light green dress with a simple touch of makeup. Her blonde hair trailed freely down her back as she held on to Sally. Miss Abigail was the headmistresses of the school and was glad to see her friend. "Sally dear, how was your day?" she inquired as they separated. "No problems at work today?" "I had a fine day today, Abigail," Sally answered. "In fact, my boss gave me the rest of this week and the next off with paid vacation time. He said that I need to spend more time with my boys and to relax a bit." Abigail frowned as she saw Sally's face fall. She had her suspicions that Sally's husband was beating her and was abusing her children, but could never get her friend to tell her anything. Sally would just wave it off and say that she was fine, but Abigail knew better. Tucking a strand of her blonde hair behind her ears, she wondered what she would say to her friend and the mother of the most sweetest little boy she had ever met. Many of her staff and the girls in the academy had a soft spot for the adopted son of Sally, and all of them thought of the boy as a little brother. Abigail smiled as she recalled when she had met the boy. It was her turn to host a girls' get-together and Sally had been running late that night. She had just taken Percy to another boarding school and wasn't able to find a babysitter for her child. The walrus of a man she called a husband was out of town on a so-called meeting. So she had brought her 4-year-old son. The boy was kind and polite for a 4-year-old. His little blue eyes seemed to sparkle with some hidden secret that only he knew whenever he was happy or excited. Unlike his older brother Percy, Sally's youngest rarely got into trouble that involved strange events, as many of the girls stood up for him in his defense when something did happen. Like the noodle incident, she thought. How in the world did it happen? She didn't want to know, considering that it involved the once proud members of the NYPD's and NYFD's honor. Shaking her head, she opened the door to the room where Sally's son was. "Time to go, Naruto, your mother's here," she started only to clasp a hand over her mouth to stop herself from laughing. Looking around her, Sally looked at her son and barked out a laugh. It was Naruto surrounded by sheepish teenage girls, dressed as a little girl. He was wearing a skirt that went down to his knees and a light blue shirt that complemented his eyes. His long hair was put up in twin ponytails down his back. On his feet were a pair of black Mary Jane shoes with a little bow at the ends and knee-high socks. The look was complete with lip gloss, a little blush to bring out his cheeks, and a touch up to his eyes to bring them out. The thing was, the poor boy looked like he was a natural girl and not the male that he truly was. Naruto, seeing that his mother was there, tried to wave to her but was stopped by the red-haired girl that was doing his fingernails. "Naruto, hold still. I need to finish and if you move I'll have to start over. You don't want that, do you?" Naruto shook his head. "No. Then hold still." Sally smiled as her son waited for the girl to finish. He was such a sweetheart that it was a shame that he was a boy. Many of the women and girls thought Naruto was too feminine to be a boy, but Sally knew that was because he was such a mommy's boy. He helped her clean the apartment where they lived as best as his little body could do. He was a good cook and could snitch and sew well enough to fix minor items. Clearing her throat, she spoke up. "I would love to have my son back, ladies. So can you finish up? My son will be back next year, so you all can dress him up when he gets back." AWW, the girls and Naruto whined. Naruto was whining because he liked it when everyone was happy and that he had to leave his friends for the summer. Feeling bad for the girls and her son, Sally thought up a solution. "How about I take a picture of all of you together? One for Naruto and you all can photocopy an image for yourselves." The group of looked at each other, then at Sally and nodded. Smiling, Abigail left to find a camera. "I need to get a picture for myself." "Naruto," the girls called as Sally drove away from the school. Back in his t-shirt and shorts, Naruto looked like how she had left him for the day. "So honey," Sally began, "how was your day?" Naruto beamed at his adopted mother. "It was great. We did math, writing, arts and craft, and a science project. Then we did dress up." Sally listened as her child told her about his day. Everything was normal about his day until there was this one girl that was looking at me weird. And she was flickering like the TV when then channel is set right. Sally's heart froze. "No, please no. Please let it, because he is a clear-sighted mortal like me. I don't know if I could bear it if he was like Percy. I don't want my children to be heroes and die." "Perhaps you were seeing things, dear. It was around the time you take a nap, yes?" Naruto thought it over. "Maybe." He spoke softly. Sally reached over from her seat and gave her son a hug. Cheer up, honey. We're going to see your older brother when we get home, then the three of you are going to the beach. Wouldn't that be fun? Smiling at each other, they held on to each other for a few moments before she went back to driving. High above on Mount Olympus, three ladies watched as their shared son share a moment with his adopted mother. They knew that they had to send him to camp, and when they did, all Hades would break loose as their so-called husbands freaked out. Until then, they waited as their plans for Naruto to come into effect. Until then, they waited. Sally watched as her two boys played in the surf of the ocean, thinking about how different her sons were from each other. Her biological son Percy had sea green eyes, black hair, a swimmer's build, and a poor luck with nearly anything to do with the school. At least this year he didn't cause me to pay several $1,000s to pay for damages. She mused as thought about the fact that he was expelled again. She giggled as she watched as Percy splashed his brother. The younger of the duo fell, and as Percy went to pick him up, Naruto tackled him into the sand. "I win." Naruto cheered until his brother reached up and tickled his sides. Percy is so protective of his little brother, Sally thought as she shook her head to the boy's antics. It would kill him if he was separated from Naruto any time longer than necessary. "I don't know if I could bear my eldest going to camp," as Naruto was looking forward to spending time with his brother. Biting her lip, Sally Jackson knew that she had to tell her sons, and that would break their hearts. "I'll tell them at the campfire." Naruto finally was able to escape his brother's tickling and raced to the cabin to dry off. "I'll beat you next time," he called out as he raced over the sand and beach grass, feeling happy and excited. "I will beat him, Dadabeo," he thought as he neared the cabin. Not thinking, he opened the door to the building, only to be tackled by an orange mass. "Ah! You stupid fox." Naruto yelled as he and the said fox tumbled head over end on the ground fighting. "I won't forgive you this time." "Naruto Jackson, what are you doing?" Naruto looked up to see the angry eyes of his mother. She cocked an eyebrow. "Well." Naruto, covered with dirt and sand, pointed to his side. "It was Kyuubi's fault, Mom, he attacked me as soon as I opened the door and." "Naruto," Sally began as she put her head into her hand. With her other she pointed at the fox. "Kyuubi's a stuffed nine-tailed fox that you got for your birthday. He isn't alive and he reached you shoulders. You must have left him on the counter next to the door and he fell on you. Now let's get inside to you two fixed up." "This isn't over." Naruto growled at Kyuubi as his mother picked him up low enough so that only the fox could only hear. "Says the brat that was cheating. We agreed not to use our teeth and you bit me. Also, you didn't even give me the tuna that you promised me today. The seagulls were good thought, but you owe me several cans." Kyuubi smirked as Naruto yelled at him as Sally ignored her son's one-sided conversation. She didn't understand her son's instance that his stuffed nine-tailed fox was a 6-foot-tall bipedal fox that talked. Kyuubi, as Naruto preferred to call his toy, was her son's best friend at times and enemy for others. One day, Naruto will forget that it is just a stuffed animal and not a person. She thought as she carried her son. "Alfred, I do have to wonder why it looks like there is blood and seagull feathers all over its mouth." Sally entered the cabin with her son and Kyuubi. "Go on, Naruto, get cleaned off. Then let me take care of your oes, okay?" Sally said in a teasing voice as she put down her son and messed up his hair. Naruto pouted and Sally resisted the urge to squeal at his cute face he made. Naruto raced off to get clean and Sally walked over to closet to get out the med and sewing kits. "Hey mom." Percy greeted his mother as he went over to the cooler, getting out a blue Gatorade. "Where's Naruto?" "Taking a shower. I caught him fighting his stuffed fox again. One of these days it's going to be too damaged to fix and I will have to throw it away. Your brother will be so heartbroken and I do not know how he would take it." Sally sighed and turned to face Naruto's stuffed fox. Only to blink at the empty spot. "Percy. Did you move Naruto's fox? It was on the counter just before you came in." "No mom, I didn't see it when I came in. Maybe Naruto took it." Sally nodded with Percy's answer. It was no big deal, as long as she fixed it up as well as her youngest, it wasn't a big deal that it disappeared. After all, it didn't get up and walk away. "Your adopted mother was going to patch me up without anesthetic again. Doesn't she know that being sewed up with a needle and thread hurts?" Kyuubi said to Naruto while sitting outside the shower. "You keep telling and I tried telling her that you need it, but she always says that foxes, especially nine-tailed ones, don't need it," Naruto replied to his friend. Kyuubi snorted. "I hope she understands how I feel when she needed to stitched up without anesthetic. That will teach her." "Hey. That's my mom, you know, and that would mean that something terrible would have to happen to her." Naruto scolded his friend. Kyuubi rolled its eyes. "Whatever." "Hey Naruto, you done yet?" Percy asked as he came around the cabin. "Almost." Naruto turned off the water and grabbed his towel. "All done. Mom waiting for you and Kyuubi to get inside," Percy told his little brother as he stepped into the shower. Naruto nodded and ran off with Kyuubi draped over his shoulders, tails on the ground dragging. As he disappeared around the corner, Percy could hear Naruto's one-sided conversation with his stuffed animal. "No, you cannot eat my brother even if he smells. What do you mean I'm weak? See here you." Percy shook his head and let the water clean him off, ignoring the strange arrogance that his brother was having with a stuffed animal. "I still don't believe it when Mom said I did the same thing, only with a stuffed blue whale." Percy thought. Blue whales are cooler than a nine-tailed fox too. Naruto opened his eyes and blinked when he saw a bearded face that he didn't know. Who are you? Where am I?" The man smiled and got a twinkle in his eyes. "Who am I? Well, I guess that I can reintroduce myself. You know me as Percy's Latin teacher from a while back." Naruto thought back to when he came with his mother to Percy's school to give his brother a home-cooked meal. "As for where you are, you're a camp half-blood." No. She needs to wear the pink one with these heels." "No. The blue blouse and lavender skirt will be perfect. I think that her nails should be a nice red. What do you think, Lacey?" "I think she is trying to escape again." Naruto pulled and heaved at the bindings that held him to the chair, surrounded by girls from the Aphrodite's cabin. They caught sight of him when he left the big house and thought he needed a makeover as he was too girly looking to be a boy. He didn't want to be given a makeover, but they were rather forceful of their views. It didn't help that he naturally looked like a young girl too. The girls at the Niga were the only ones that he let giving him a makeover as they said it was for their grades. For some reason they gigged or turned their faces away each time they said that thought. "Kyuubi, help me." Naruto yelled out. "MPHF. In a bit, kid, these cookies are delicious and the tea is simply too good to pass up." "How can you be drinking tea and eating cookies when your friend is hey? You just said you're eating cookies." "No fair, I want some too." Kyuubi made exaggerated eating sounds of someone who is enjoying a good meal. Naruto tugged on his bonds harder as to get to the cookies before Kyuubi ate them all. It didn't help when Kyuubi started to talk to the other stuffed animals about said cookies. "Oh yes, Mr. Bumpkins, Naruto is such a pain at times. Oh yes, he has yet to give me the tuna that he so promised more tea. Why yes, Miss Piggy, I would love some. I do believe that Naruto would have loved to join us, but he is rather tied up at the moment with his new friends. Oh yes, I am enjoying these cookies too much. When I get out of this, I am going to turn that fur ball into a fur coat. That will teach him from keeping me from cookies," Naruto thought as glared in the general area of Kyuubi. The girls of the cabin didn't pay any attention to Naruto as they were too busy chatting about what Naruto should wear and what kinds of makeup he should be wearing. There was no guys in the cabin as the girls kicked them out, saying that it was improper for a boy to see a girl naked or indecent. As soon as the last boy was out but Naruto, they locked up the entrance and covered the windows, then provided to strip Naruto to his underwear. They let Naruto keep them on, saying that even if they were boys' underwear, they looked good on him and they looked at least like girl boxers. Now here he was, tied up with chatting girls trying to figure out an outfit that would fit a girl of her stature. Guess who the lucky girl was? Naruto's eyes lit up when the bindings for his left hand came undone. His joy was short-lived as a hand came to his cheek and brushed against his whisker markings. "Don't purr, oh please don't purr," he thought as he feared the consequence of doing so. "Purr, oh no." The chatting stopped as soon as the girls hear the noise. Did she purr? I think so. Struck her markings again. Oh no. The hand that was not moving started up again, this time up and down with feeling of gentleness like a lover does to their other. Naruto started to purr louder and lean into the hand. His eyes glazed over and he relaxed. "Oh, this is so cute." One girl squealed. Another nodded in agreement. "I know. She reminds me of a fox that I raised when I was younger until it died. The purring is more like a cat's thought." "That gives me an idea. Why don't we dress her as a fox?" "I have just the thing." The girl named Lacey squealed out as she raced to her chest. Digging around she pulled out a shirt for the camp, a dark range pair of pants, some dark colored cat ears, and a long orange sock. She raced back to the group with the items in hand. "Let's use these." In seconds Naruto was dressed up with the sock acting as his tail. Several of the older girls did makeup to complete the look. Kyuubi took one look at Naruto and fell to the floor howling in laughter. Naruto glared at his friend before a thought struck his mind. It's missing something. At those words the girl's eyes lit up and nodded. The one called Drew nodded and walked over to where Kyuubi was and picked up the stuffed animal. Pulling out a ribbon she tied a pink bow around Kyuubi's neck and placed him on Naruto's lap. The girls all stepped back and admired their work, gushing on how cute the scene was. I hate you kid. The bow doesn't even match my color. I the great Kyuubi, reduced to being a plaything. If you had helped me we both would have escaped with the cookies. Naruto hissed at the fox. About the cookies. You didn't. They were too good to pass up. Now let's eat. Mane brought in cookies from her father's factory today and they are some of the rarest ones he could get her hands on. The girls turned to get to the cookies and saw that there was only crumbs. Kyuubi, seeing things were about to get hairy, raced out the door, with Naruto right behind him, intending to murder his friend for eating the cookies. The boys of Aphrodite's cabin were bowled over as they sat around the grass in front of their cabin by two orange masses. Thinking that it was the poor kid that was taken by their sisters to be given a makeover and the kid stuffed fox, they didn't realize that they had cookie crumbs spattered all over them when Kyuubi passed by. The girls noticed it and unleashed their feminine fury on the poor boys on the idea that their brothers ate their cookies. Naruto, so focused on killing Kyuubi, didn't notice until it was too late hit a person with their back turned. "Hey, who are you, brat?" The girl glared at Naruto until she got a gleam in her eyes. Grabbing him by the scruff of his neck, the girl, Claris, smirked. "You're one of the two newbies. I was going to introduce your brother to the toilets, but I think that you should go first." Claris started toward the girls' restroom with Naruto in her hands. Naruto tried to escape, but she was too strong for him. She was about to enter before a voice called out. "Hey." Naruto stood in the middle of the girls' bathroom floor next to a blonde girl. Both were soaked, the girl more than Naruto as she had shielded him with her body, with toilet water. His brother was in the only dry spot in the entire room for some reason. The trio looked at each other silently, then walked to the entrance of the girls' restroom to see Claris and her siblings. Naruto didn't know that they were floundering in the mud made from the toilet water. "Oh, I miss out on something interesting." "Not much, Kyuubi. That gorilla of a girl and her friends were going to introduce me to the drainage ability of a toilet close-up and personal-like." Naruto grumbled to his friend. He then brightened up and spoke excitedly, "But bro did this thing with the toilets and had the water push the bullies away." Kyuubi yawned. "That's nice, kid. But you now stink up a storm." "Not my fault. At least I no longer look like a little girl playing dress up. But now you smell and we both know what that means." Kyuubi grinned at Naruto's horrified look. "No." "Yes," Kyuubi crackled. "Bath time." At least it wasn't a bath. Naruto thought to himself as he stepped out of the Hermes restroom freshly showered with a towel around his waist. "Boy, Naruto. Here's some shorts for you to wear and we're out of camp shirts your size right now, so here's a shirt from the bin." The counselor for cabin 11, Luke Castellan, handed Naruto his new clothes. Nodding his head in thanks, Naruto re-entered the restroom and put them on. When he came out he was wearing a pair of dark blue shorts, his sneakers, and a red striped t-shirt. Percy gave his brother a high five as Naruto walked out of the cabin. The blonde girl from earlier was with him. "How are you doing, little bro?" "Fine." Naruto answered him as he stared at the blonde girl. Percy, seeing this, was quick into introducing his brother to the girl. "Naruto, this is Annabeth." "Annabeth, this is my little brother, Naruto." Annabeth's eyes blinked in surprise. "That's your brother?" she asked, shocked that the younger boy in front of her was a male. "He looks more like a girl than anything else. I thought he was a she." "I get that a lot." Naruto pouted as he silently cursed his girly looks. Something that Percy never seemed to let him forget, but at least he made sure that his little bro wasn't picked on too much because of it. Annabeth shook her head. Her female pride wouldn't accept the fact that Naruto looked so much like a natural girl, far more than some of her sisters or some of the younger female campers. If he's a son of Apollo or Aphrodite I could understand, as Aphrodite's sons do look girly at times and Apollo's until they fill out. But if not. Annabeth was taken from her thinking as Naruto started to talk to his stuffed animal next to him. "Do you think that what I am wearing reminds you of something?" "I don't know why, but it feels like I'm impersonating someone who wears the exact thing that I am wearing right now with blonde hair was well who talks to his best friend that no one can see isn't just a stuffed animal." "So Naruto, do you have any idea who your godly parent is?" Naruto looked at her strangely. "Huh? I thought this place was just a camp." Annabeth shook her head. "Well, yes, but this is a special camp for people like us. We're demigods and..." "What's a demigod?" Naruto asked, genuine confusion. "A demigod is a child born of a mortal and a god or goddess." Annabeth answered with a hint of something that Naruto could not identify. Humming, she looked Naruto over. "Percy said that you were adopted, correct?" Naruto nodded sadly with hurt feelings. Even if he had a mother though Sally Jackson, it was not the same as knowing where he came from and how his true family was. Annabeth, seeing that she had hurt his feelings, gave Naruto a hug. "What, no hug for me?" Kyuubi spoke sarcastically as the duo separated. Pekri stood where he was, more interested to the fact that Luke was walking up to them. "Hey Percy, Naruto, how's the first day going for you?" "Fine. Okay." Luke frowned at Naruto's soft tone. Looking over the scene he winced and had a dark look pass over him for a second. Only Kyuubi noticed the look that passed over him. "That boy is more than what he appears. I better keep an eye on him as he reminds me of an Uchiha." Kyuubi thought with narrow eyes. The next few days were interesting for the two brothers as they went around doing activities while the cabin heads and Chiron tried to figure out Percy's and Naruto's godly parents. Mr. D, as the camp liked to call him as he wanted to be called that for some reason Naruto did not get, was more interested in Naruto than his brother. The two were the talk of the camp as they were the newest campers this year. Naruto enjoyed camp like his brother, but both had a hard time trying to find an activity that fit them. Percy more than Naruto. Archery class with the Apollo kids. High point was when Percy shot Chiron in the ass. Naruto was able to use the bow, but he wasn't strong enough to draw the string back enough to hit the target from an acceptable distance. He had a great grouping that Chiron praised him for. The Apollo campers said he might be one of theirs, but until he was claimed they didn't know if it was in his blood or talent. Kyuubi spent most of the time avoiding being shot at by Percy. Several arrows did hit and piece his tails. One of the Athena girls fixed Kyuubi for Naruto, but she had him promise to model for her in return someday. He agreed to the deal as she was the best seamstress in the camp currently. Foot racing with the Hermes and Dryads. Percy and Naruto were left in the dust by the Dryads. However, Naruto had more stamina than his brother, so he was able to go longer. Percy was humiliated that he was slower than a tree, but felt better when told that he had centuries of practice from running away from lovesick gods. Naruto was more concerned about the fact that the Dryads were too close to him when he tripped and fell. They spent several minutes to his horror to take turns to rub his cheeks and sitting him on their laps. He didn't mind sitting on their laps as they gossiped about things his mind didn't understand yet and pressed their bodies against him. I wonder why the older guys and satyrs are looking like they want to kill me, he wondered as he shifted his weight on the Dryad that was holding him. Arts and crafts with the Hesphatus campers. Naruto didn't have the strength yet to use the Froge, but he helped the rest of the group by tending the fire and racing around to get tools for the Hephaestus campers. Percy enjoyed the class as he was able to partly forge a sword. Recreating and writing with Annabeth. Percy knew how to read so he had the easiest time with this activity than his brother, who was still learning to read. Even with Kyuubi, Percy, and Annabeth helping Naruto, the poor kid was out of his league for the time being. Gardening with Demeter's cabin. Percy learned that he lacked a green thumb and left before he could cause more damage. Naruto was able to show that he had some talent here, but he got into an argument with one of the boys over several holes where the campers were growing flowers. The boy did not believe Naruto when he was told that it was Kyuubi's fault. Saying that there was not way that a stuffed animal could dig, he had Naruto fill in the holes. Naruto got back at him by via water balloons filled with pain and pinned it on the Stroll brothers. Canoeing. Percy shined in this area while his brother did decently. While his brother got first in the race, Naruto got third as he had a hard time turning around with his boat. Then came the day that all the campers were waiting for. Naruto felt odd in his armor for capture the flag. One of the Strolls was helping him tighten and straighten his armor, while the other was checking the bags that they had brought for the game. Percy was on the other side of the table, trying to find a sword that he could wield. So what are the rules that Chiron forgot to tell us? Naruto asked as he reached for his helmet after his armor was properly put on, although a bit big on him. Other than make sure that you watch your back for monsters that weren't cleared out, you should be fine. Unless the Ares campers use you two to back at your brother. Connor said as he handed Naruto a bag. Connor and Travis had taken Naruto in as their apprentice prankster after he had framed them for the paint-filled water balloon prank Naruto pulled off. Looking inside the bag, Naruto saw that the brothers had filled it with pranking supplies for the game. There was a can of whipped cream, some stink and smoke bombs, a water gun filled with paint, a bottle of itching powder, and… "What is this?" Naruto asked as he took out a box with a word on it he didn't know. Connor turned red in the face as Travis spoke in a tone that sounded serious. "They are balloons, Naruto, a special brand that we smuggled into camp." Mr. D, who happened to be looking in the direction of Naruto, started to snicker into his hand. Naruto, not seeing this, took one of the balloons out. They look strange for balloons. Percy was too busy talking to Luke about something and didn't notice the growing snickers as Naruto spoke in a loud voice. "Why is each a different flavor? Are they for making the water that is put in taste better, or am I supposed to fill it with cream?" Connor was trying to keep from bursting a gut as well as most of the guys who knew what Naruto had said unintentionally. The girls who also knew were too red-faced to tell Naruto what he had could be taken the wrong way. Mr. D was making sure that he got this videotape for blackmail or to use for the annual Funnest Olympus home video showing for the next time the winter solstice. The fun came to end due to Chiron taking away the box of balloons and telling the Scroll brothers that they had to clean the toilets for all the cabins for a week for their stunt. Naruto protested, asking why the trainer was taking his balloons, and to many of the campers snickers watched as Chiron tried to come up with an answer to the innocent boy's request to have what he believed to be balloons. Giving up, he just walked away, with Naruto protesting until Liz, the girl who fixed up Kyuubi, distracted Naruto so that he would forget about the balloons. Naruto quickly forgot about the balloons as Liz told him what he was to be doing. "You will be sticking with me, Naruto. We'll be inside our territory as lookouts and distractions as the red team tries to get out flag." "What about Kyuubi?" Naruto asked as he lifted up his stuffed animal. A blue headband was around its head and it wore a simple commando vest unzipped. Mark, an Aries camper, gave it to Naruto after Naruto bested the older boy in hand-to-hand combat. Liz did not know the details as Mark was not forthcoming and Naruto was bribed by the older camper to keep quiet. All Mark said on the issue that Naruto could be either an Athena camper or just a clever Ars kid. Kyuubi can, watch the game with MRD. The first part was towards Naruto and the seconds towards Mr. D. The gears in Liz's head were turning as she thought on how she could come up with a logical and pleasant-sounding reasoning that would have Naruto leave his stuffed toy at the table or cabin. While her sister Annabeth was the cabin head, Liz was also a candidate for the position as the eldest child of the goddess and had the same amount of beads as Annabeth. The only reason she was not the cabin head was because she did not want it and she was gone from the camp until summertime as she was trying to become a fashion designer. Naruto frowned but nodded. Walking up to Mr. D, he asked the immortal if he could watch Kyuubi until he could collect it after the game. Mr. D rolled his eyes and agreed. If only because Naruto gave him the puppy eyes and the feeling of Hestia looking at him as if to say you better do so or else. Soon after the game began. Our hero Spaceman Sniff was hiding behind a rather large rock as he tried to find out what the evil Zogs were up to. His ally, the strange owl creature, was nearby, perched on what looked like a rotten giant weed. The Zogs had taken our hero's ship and without it our hero could not escape this arena of doom. Bashfi Fajiras Fai. The creature spoke to our hero as several of the Zogs came into view as they moved through the darkened landscape. Taking out his death rays Orcher, he set the level to deep fat fry. Taking a close look at the approaching Zogs, he identified them as the Seducer Swarm Mole class. Think back to his encounters with this type, our hero made a plan to avoid their attack of overly affection of death. Taking out a demise O-bomb, he stepped out from behind the rock. "Hey, it's Naruto. Oh, I want to stroke his whiskers again. Maybe we should capture him and bring him to the other girls. But what is he doing? Blast it. The Zogs have noticed our hero and were heading straight for him, clearly to take him back to the nest for their horrible treatment before killing him." Acting fast, Spaceman Sniff threw his bomb yelling, "Take that, you filthy creatures. Die." The bomb hit true and our hero waited to see if it was effective. His ally let out an alarm as it was attacked by a bigger and bulkier version of the Zogs. She was doing well, but she was then attacked from the side from another the same class. The low grow came from the smoke and our hero gasped as the trio emerged unharmed but extremely angry. The one that closest hissed out at our hero. Not wanting to know what these ugly creatures wanted, Spaceman Sniff raced away on his jetpack, quickly and rapidly leaving the area. Liz and the sons of Mr. D looked at the rapidly fading form of Naruto running away, screaming as the girls from Cabin 10 raced after him. Urks, it seems that the foul creatures have jetpacks of their own. Our hero fires his weapon, only to find that it is only an irritant to his foes. Gasped Urter Spaceman Sniff. One of the creatures roared at our hero as he raced away. Taking a look at his inventory, our hero quickly mixed the experimental powder into his blaster. Taking aim, he fired into his satiation, one of the creatures went down. "Arg. That little brat, if he wasn't so cute I would skin him alive," yelled Aphrodite's daughter number 1 as she rolled on the ground trying to relive the itching and stink. Her sisters quickly hide behind a tree to avoid being hit. "I think that maybe I should use my charm speak," grumbled girl number 2 as Naruto took pop shots with his water gun. She quickly hit the ground and rolled as a paint-filled water balloon broke over her head. Growling, she came up with a plan. Telling her fellow sister next to her the plan, as their fallen member was out of it, they split up. Spaceman Sniff waited for the last two Zogs to show themselves as their fallen comrade was either dying or just faking its actions. Acting quickly, he raced around the rock to attack the survivors. "Gadfa!" yelled one of the Zogs as it captured our hero in its arms. The other appeared quickly, drawn in by its fellow Zogs' cries of victory. They quickly took our hero's weapon and started to attack our hero by using their evil Zog seductions. Our hero must stay strong. What is he talking about? I have no idea, but I think that revenge is in order. Hold him still as I use my talent to make him surrender and follow us. Well, hurry up, he's starting to kick harder. Spaceman Sniff will never surrender, you evil hags, Naruto yelled as he struggled against the far stronger girl. He did not. He did. I think that he should be proper punished. Reaching out, daughter number 3 stroked his cheeks, causing Naruto to start purring. Grinning, she reached out and pinched Naruto's cheeks. Oh, Naruto cried as she pulled. Looking at him dead in the eyes, she asked with a smile and twinkle in her eyes, "I will let go if you promise to apologize for calling us hags." Naruto tried to shake his head, as Spaceman Sniff would never surrender, but the second girl pinched his butt and he cried out in pain. The girl let go and slowly started to rub the area to calm the pain. The girl who was holding his face let go of his left cheek and started to rub his side. Under the stress of the pain and pleasure, Naruto surrendered. "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." The girls grinned and let him go. "No, let's get you to prison," and a horn blew through the woods, signing the end of the game. Rolling her eyes, Selena Beauregard looked at her sister and Naruto with a neutral expression. "Never mind, let's go see who won." Naruto sighed as he walked aimlessly around the cabin green. Kyuubi was nowhere to be found, as he said that he wanted to spy on the quote, "sexy dryads and nymphs who were bathing in the creek around this time," whatever that meant. The Hermes cabin were in the middle of sword fight class. Mr. D's sons were with the Demeter cabin working in the strawberry fields. The children of Athena and Hephaestus were working together on some sort of project. The Apollo and Aphrodite cabins were split between doing a volleyball match, the boys, and getting a tan, the girls. As for the Ares campers, they were taking a special archery class with Chiron after one of the boys from the cabin tried to do a trick shot and nearly shot Chiron. Picking a small rock in his path, Naruto sat down next to the hearth. "I'm so bored," he thought as he closed his eyes. "Need something?" Naruto opened his eyes and looked to his left. There off to the side was a girl that he had never really noticed. She smiled at Naruto as she tucked some of her brown hair out of the way with one of her hands and the other poked at the logs with a prod. Her eyes seemed to reflex the fire in them, but add a softer and friendlier glow. Or was that rock just in the way? Shaking his head, Naruto looked at her, then huffed and turned away. "It's nothing." "Your actions tell me that it is more than nothing. You want to talk about it?" "I have cookies." Naruto looked out from the corner of his eye and saw that the girl had pulled up a lunchbox and placed it on her lap. Taking out a cookie, she teased Naruto by slowly eating one right in front of him. They always taste better with someone to share them with. Naruto's tummy rumbled and he blushed. The girl giggled as he rubbed the back of his head. Walking over to the girl, he sat down and took one of the cookies. After a bite, his eyes started to water. "This," he started, "tastes like mom's cookies." "I'll take that as a compliment then." The duo ate in silence for a while before she asked, "Is it okay if I brushed your hair?" "Knock yourself out." Grinning, she took a brush that Naruto did not notice before and started on his hair. "You need to either cut your hair or take better care of your hair," she said as she brushed. Naruto hummed as she stroked his hair with her brush. Naruto jerked as she brushed out a tangle. The girl hit him lightly with her hairbrush. "Don't move." "Sorry." The duo were quiet for a bit as she brushed his hair. "It's about my brother Percy." The girl stayed quiet as Naruto explained how his brother got to leave the camp and got to know who his father was, while as for himself had to stay at the camp and not know who either of his parents were. "It's not fair." "The world is, and never was, fair, Naruto. Perhaps your godly parent wants you to grow stronger so that when you are claimed, you are given the honor based on your own merits." Naruto pointed at the Hermes campers in the distance. Many of them were never claimed. Why are some claimed and others not? "I understand slightly that the gods do not want to play favorites, but aren't they doing so by claiming some but not others? Why is it that because that we are sired by them we have to listen to the gods?" The girl was silent as she thought up an answer to the upset boy. "I can see your argument and I agree. But the gods are prideful, so if you want to do something about it, you will have to become a great hero. Then I will become even greater than even the legendary heroes of the past," Naruto declared with his finger raised up. "Perhaps, Naruto, but for now, let me finish your hair." Escha sang to herself as she cleaned her temple. Ever since she met Naruto, she had been feeling happier than usual. And it was showing in the way she moved and worked. Her latest batch of food was just as good as the feast she made for the celebration of the gods' first year of ruling. Her power pulsed of her in waves filled with happiness, making every passing immortal on Olympus wonder what was happening within the temple. "And that is another batch of cookies," Hestia gigged as she pulled her batch of chocolate chip cookies off the rack. Using her powers to cool them down, she put them into a lunch box. "I hope that Naruto will enjoy these cookies just as well as the last batch," she wondered as she walked into her bedroom. Going to her wardrobe, she hummed as she looked for an outfit to wear. Choosing one, she put it on like a mortal. True, she could use her powers to put it on and have it fit perfectly, but she liked doing it like mortals. Whirling around, she looked in the mirror to judge her outfit. Perhaps I should lose the curls. With a pulse of power, she straightened her hair and tied it up with a ribbon and a bow. Nodding to the image, she skipped out to get everything for her lunch date with Naruto. However, before she could head to Camp Half-Blood, there was a knock on her temple doors. "Come in." Athena and Artemis stood outside the temple wondering what was going on with their fellow virgin goddess. After days working to keep the peace between her brothers, Hestia suddenly stopped, leaving only Demeter and Hera to try to calm the fighting brothers. No one noticed that she left until the first pulse of power left her temple. Zeus and Poseidon stopped their argument over Zeus's bolt to send them to investigate. At least the two aren't fighting, Artemis said to Athena as they walked towards Hestia's temple. True, but until the bolt is found there's still the threat of war between the two. I hope my daughter will be able to retrieve the bolt even if it is the sea god son's quest. Athena said smugly. Artemis rolled her eyes as Athena started to mutter about how the boy could have stolen the bolt when the boy was so ignorant about his heritage. It makes no sense for my rival to have his son take the bolt. It is as if someone is playing Zeus's rivalry with his brother. Instead of focusing on your rival, why don't we focus on the task at hand? Artemis growled at her half-sister as they turned onto the street Hestia's temple was on. She had no time to deal with Athena's issues with her uncle. All she wanted to do was to get back to her hunt to track down that monster that was proving to be worthy prey. Another pulse of power hit and the sisters had to question the fact why Zeus had their aunt leave the council for their lazy brother Dionysus. That was interesting. Athena said as she dusted off her dress. Artemis looked at her aunt's temple in confusion. Was it just me or was that last one more powerful than the last? Perhaps we should hurry. The two sisters raced to the doors of the temple of the goddess of the hearth. Finding it locked, Athena and Artemis wondered if they should knock or just break in. After using their powers to determine if Hestia was alone and finding so they relaxed a bit. Artemis knocked as she did not want to be punished by Hestia again after the last time Artemis interrupted the elder goddess's concentration. Come in. Naruto turned the page as he read the book Liz gave to him. She had given it to him so that he could practice his reading skills for both English and ancient Greek. It was a story about some cat in the hat and Naruto was enjoying it. Reaching up he pulled out a flower from one of the braids that the dryads made earlier in the day. The tree girls loved to play with his hair and they did a number on it today. His hair was braided into several braids that had flowers woven into them. Currently, he was in the lap of a dryad named Juniper who was helping him understand some of the words as he stumbled along with his reading. They were by her tree in the forest as Naruto wanted to get away from the campers for a bit. He hated the looks that he was given due to his relation to Percy. His brother did not steal the god of sparks bolt. Percy wouldn't do that, but the head gods seemed to think so. Now some of the campers kept him at arm's distance as his brother could have started the next world war. Okay Naruto, you should be heading back to the cabin green. You were going to meet a friend later today and I want you to get going before you forget. Naruto looked at Juniper with his big blue eyes. Aw, but I want to finish this without your help one time though. He complained as he got off her lap. She shook her head as the young boy whined about the fact that he couldn't finish the book by himself yet. Reaching out, she gave him a kiss to his cheek, causing the boy to blush pink. You. He cried out as he rubbed the spot where her lips met his cheek. Tucking, she patted his rear to get him moving. I'll see you later Naruto, she cooed as he started off. Maybe next time you'll finish the story. She called out to his retreating form. Hearing a rumble by the pile of rocks called Zeus' fist, the dryad hid in the branches. Narrowing her eyes at the form that was heading back to the camp she thought, what are you up to son of Hermes? The lone figure stalked its prey. Its eyes narrowed as the prey looked around, sensing something was amiss. After a few seconds the prey relaxed, thinking it was in no danger. The figure swayed its tails back and forth as it moved stealthy in the underbrush. Getting into position, it crouched down. After a few seconds it leaped. Claws ready and teeth bared it headed towards the foolish prey that was walking unaware. Ah! Naruto screamed as Kyuubi headed towards him from above. Kyuubi tackled him with a flying hug and the duo went end over end down the path, fighting. Dust flew as the duo rolled towards the green, fighting tooth and nail. You stupid fox. Smelly ape child. Over and over they argued as they rolled Fraud out of the forest and onto the green. A satyr stepped out of the way looking on as Naruto fought his stuffed fox and losing. That kid has issues, he said as he went on his way towards the stables. Several campers watched as Naruto and his fox fought and rolled head over head though the green. I will win as I am the most powerful and the best looking fox there is, Kyuubi proclaimed as the duo heading towards the hearth, using one of its tails to sucker hit Naruto in the gut. I will not lose to a nine-tailed flea bag. Naruto roared as he slugged Kyuubi in the eye. They rolled past the hearth, ignoring the flash signing the arrival of two goddesses. Hestia and Artemis could only look as Naruto and Kyuubi rolled fought towards hearth. That is Naruto? Artemis asked Hestia as the duo stopped fighting, with the stuffed animal pinning Naruto down, while Naruto choked it with his hands. Yes, Hestia answered her niece as she looked at the scene with wonder. Naruto, hearing her voice looked up. What are you doing? Help me fight this miserable little rugao that hurt. No, I am not cheating you idiot. What did you say to me? The two goddesses looked on as the boy and the stuffed animal continued to fight. Having enough, Hestia separated the duo. That is enough. Naruto, you are being rude to your friend. Hestia chilled the boy once she got him and Kyuubi sitting down. Kyuubi started it, Naruto complained, then glared at the stuffed nine-tailed fox. Kyuubi is not the one in trouble here, Naruto. You are, so you are going to come with me, and Artie here. Artemis glared at the use of her brother's nickname for her, and we are going to have a nice meal. Taking his silence as acceptance, Hestia started towards the beach, Artemis right behind her. Naruto looked at Kyuubi one last time. Why is it all the girls take your side? Because they know that foxes are far more superior to an ape like you. Artemis looked at the blonde-haired boy as he ate one of Hestia's cookies, her own still in her hands. Hestia was lying on her side on the sand on the other side of Naruto, head held up with one arm. The other was playing with Naruto's hair. Here was no one on the beach as Hestia had used her power to make sure that the trio would be left alone. Naruto seemed to be happy to be spending time with the goddess, even if he didn't know he was in the presence of the goddess of the hearth and the goddess of the hunt. Looking him over, Artemis noticed that the boy was too girly looking. If it wasn't for Hestia telling her about Naruto, she would have tried to recruit him. Well, I still could, she mused as she looked him over. He would have to agree to become a girl, but he is so cute as a boy. Those big blue sapphire eyes, so innocent to the wood, and the aura that he has. Gah, if Aphrodite heard my thoughts she wouldn't let me hear the end of it. But his whiskers are so cute, I want to touch them. Reaching out, the goddess of the hunt's hand rubbed Naruto's cheeks. Naruto, not expecting this, let out a purr of pleasure. Artemis's and Hestia's eyes widened in surprise. Naruto, realizing that his secret was discovered again, paled as Artemis let out a feminine giggle and grinned brightly as she looked at him with wonder and a teasing look to her eyes. Hestia was also looking at him. However, unlike Artemis, this was a glare of mock anger and hurt. Naruto scampered back as the two goddesses rose up and towered over him. "Uonaruto," said boy gulped as Hestia's voice rang out. "You didn't tell me that you purred. You need to be punished properly. What do you think, Artie?" "I agree. He should have shared his little secret." Artemis grinned as she looked down at the scared boy. "In fact, he should be glad to let us bet him. I concur with it." The two goddesses pounced on Naruto. Athena walked through her temple as her mind raced through the information that Hestia gave her and her half-sister. She had heard of Naruto via her daughters, but at the time she ignored them as she was busy with finding the bolt. Now she was curious about the brother of the sea spawned. Grabbing a pad of paper and a pen, she sat down and wrote what Hestia had said about Naruto. Flashback. Athena, Artemis. Hestia spoke as she looked at her fellow virgin goddesses. They were all sitting around Hestia's dining table, and Hestia was uneasy. She wanted to make sure that she was on time to see Naruto again today, and it was getting close to the time they were going to meet up. Is something the matter? Artemis looked at her aunt. You were releasing a lot of power, Hestia, and we were sent to make sure that nothing was wrong. Artemis watched as Hestia sighed with relief. No, nothing is wrong, she trailed off as she started to worry about how she was going to explain why she was happy. Athena frowned as Hestia trailed off. Is it about the argument about the bolt? Poseidon's child has been given a quest to find it. No, it's not about the bolt. Then what? Hestia sighed at Artemis' question. I am happy because I can be. Also, I have taken a liking to one of the campers. Oh? Athena was interested now. Hestia had never really had any interest about any of the campers for over a century now. Not saying that she enjoyed the campers' company and helped them out, it was just the fact she had never taken an interest before. Who is it? Percy's younger brother, Naruto. I do not think I have heard of him. Hestia looked at her niece. I take it he arrived at the camp with his brother. Hestia nodded. Yes, and he is a cutie. Many of the girl campers have taken a shine to him as he is such a little brother type. She giggled. I find him to be charming, innocent, energetic, outgoing, and handsome. Should we be afraid, Hestia? Or are we going to have only two virgin goddesses soon? Hestia threw a pillow that was on the chair next to her at Artemis. Oh, shush you. Naruto isn't like that. He is just friendly, and if you suggest that again or try to castrate him, I will make you listen to one of Aphrodite's lectures on how to bag a man again. Artemis paled with the threat. Meekly, as Hestia had a dark and evil aura around her, Athena asked, what does he look like? Conjuring an image at the center of the table she showed them. See for yourselves. And flashback. Athena looked at what she had put down and frowned. Hestia was unclear on who she thought was his godly parent, as Naruto displayed skills that supported multiple gods. There was also the fact he was adopted, and when she pulled his file from the orphanage, all the papers said was that he was found on the street as a newborn. Which means that he most likely was a child of a goddess or was kidnapped by a monster. Athena looked at the image that she had her daughter send her of Naruto. His blue eyes and blonde hair could be from Hermes, Apollo or herself, but she knew that he was not her child. His whiskers were interesting birthmarks, and she toyed with the idea that he was related to Pan, but dissipated the thought of it. One message waiting. Her eyes darted towards the water fountain that she used when conducting IMs. Walking quickly she flicked a coin for the goddess of rainbows. Dionysus's face appeared and the god looked at the goddess. Ah, Athena, got my message I see. What is it Dionysus? You aren't one for social calls. Looking at her youngest half-brother with calculating grey eyes, she flicked her hair around her shoulders. I have work to do. Do you know of Peter Johnson's brother, Menma? Dionysus asked. It took her a few moments to figure out who he was talking about. Yes. Good. Dionysus gulped down a soda. Burping, he looked at the older goddess. Then I will make this quick. The Brad has been asking me about his brother and similar questions about the quest. As we both know, we immortals cannot interfere due to the laws, but to get him to stop, I had to promise him that I would see what I would do. Athena crossed her arms over her chest. So you called me? Why? Because for one you are not anywhere in the west right now, making it unlikely you would be the god that is turned. Dionysus took a sip from the can. Also, you will be able to hold one over your rival if you help his son. I will do what I can on one condition. I'm listening. I want you to spy on Naruto for me. Dionysus' eyes narrowed and he leaned back. Why? Athena looked at Dionysus in the eyes and said nothing. Dionysus backed down by looking away. Fine, I will report to you weekly about the brat if you can give aid to his brother, Grover, and your daughter. Agreed. Agreed. Kyuubi rested in the middle of the Hermes cabin under the window. Kyuubi enjoyed the spot as the sunlight hit just right. When the cabin was empty it was rather cozy, if not cluttered. Hearing a noise in one of the corners of the room, Kyuubi jumped up to the rafters and stealthy went over to the area. Are you sure about this? If the gods found out a boy's voice. Why should you care? They have done nothing for us and with the titans rising, we have the chance to overthrow them and stead a new age. Another boy's voice. You're right. My father won't ever claim me. Even if he the god of. Don't use his title. That god is a pawn right now, a bit unknowingly. The only godly immortals you can trust right now are several of the minor ones. If you are with us. Meet us at Kyuubi sneezed. Is someone there? Search the cabin. Find whoever it was and bring them to me. I will use my power to make them forget if they are on the god side. If they are against them it is no importance as the secret will be safe. A girl's voice rang out. Several footsteps were heard and Kyuubi ducked into the shadows. Why aren't we going to kill whoever it is? Because that would bring the attention of the traveler to us. If blood was drawn in his cabin the whole rebellion would be in jeopardy. Kyuubi's eyes widened as it felt itself fall. A girl walked over to it and picked it up. Isn't this Naruto's stuffed animal? The boys growled at his name. Yeah, that's his. That girly boy is outright doing something. Why you girls seem to like him is beyond me. Slap Naruto is a better boy than you Jerry. He has manners and is going to become a hot eye when he grows up. TSK. That weakling is nothing. If you like him so much why is it you haven't made a claim on him yet? You could use your magic to make him your slave or something. And lose his cuteness that screams hold me, I'm weak and innocent. No, I want him to keep his innocence so I can train him to serve us females. That girl is crazy Kyuubi thought as the girl went on about how she would train Naruto. Hopefully Naruto will escape her claws. I do not want my power to be controlled by anyone and if my container is a pet slave of girls, then his masters are my masters. Naruto chuckled darkly as he filled up a water balloon. After filling it up, he quickly took out several more and started to fill them up as well. Naruto and Kyuubi were having a water balloon fight and he was determined to win. I wish that the other campers could get along. He thought as his thoughts went back to the day before. But before he went too far down memory lane, he stopped himself. I need to focus. Kyuubi will not win this time. What's you doing? Naruto screamed and jumped into the air. Matthew gave a low whistle in praise as Naruto cleared 3 feet easily. As soon as he was sure that his heart wasn't going to come out of his chest, Naruto glared at the son of Athena. Matthew gulped as he noticed the water balloon in Naruto's hands, ready to be thrown in a moment's notice. Hey Naruto you aren't mad right? Well you see Matthew stumbled over his words as Naruto's eyes hardened. By the gods, whoever his immortal parent is, he must have inherited their glare. He thought as Naruto's glare bore on him. What is it? I'm in the middle of something here. Naruto growled as he considered whether or not to soak the older boy. Or to get back at him by via prank. He had yet to try to prank the Athena campers due to their blasted intelligence and smarts. Also, most of them gave him no reason to prank them other than the whole standoff that he didn't care for. Thought it would be a great way to get stronger as the Hermes cabin prank kings have yet to breach their walls. Liz wants to see you later when you have the time. Something about measuring you to make sure that she makes the right sizes or something. Naruto nodded when Matthew finished telling him what he came for. Oh, you have yet to answer my question. What are you doing? I'm having a water balloon fight with Kyuubi, Naruto stated proudly. Isn't it a bit one-sided? Matthew deadpanned as Kyuubi was only a stuffed animal. Naruto should win unless he was planning to soak himself. Naruto tilted his head and stared at Matthew with a quizzed look. Never mind. Forget I asked. Kyuubi sat on a rock waiting for Naruto to come so they could start the game. As he waited he thought about how he could explain to the boy what he heard and who said it. That is brat too trusting at times. If we were still in Konohagakure the brat wouldn't be so carefree and happy. Those so-called followers of the Will of Fire would be trying to either kill him or make him kill himself to get away from it all. Only because he contains my power. Should I tell him that I was the one to kill his parents and his twin sister is in the hands of the man that set me on the village? Kyuubi looked up into the sky and closed its eyes. Focusing, he once more reached out with its senses, looking for a ping of chakra that did not belong to Naruto. Kyuubi had taken a liking to Naruto as the brat saw him as a friend and a comrade in arms. The villagers and the ninja of the leaf would have made him think I was an enemy and I would have to pretend to be a bad guy so that he could one day try to befriend me. TSK, as if I would let anyone who wasn't worthy use my power. Kyuubi stopped searching when he felt Naruto heading towards him. Kyuubi and I's sweat dropped as it saw that Naruto had taken the liberty to use his time to make extra water balloons. Hahaha. You're in trouble now Kyuubi. Hahaha Naruto darkly chuckled as he stood in front of his nine-tailed friend. Well you have just one water balloon, I have three. I'm a walking arsenal of hydro weaponry. Haha. I can see the fear in your eyes. You realize that I can get you 3 times wetter than you can get me. Throw your balloon and your utter sogginess is assured. I, on the hand, can act with impunity. With 3 water balloons I fear nothing. Kyuubi tossed the water balloon in its hands toward Naruto. Catch. Hey. Don't. My arms are full. Naruto screamed as the balloon headed straight for him. Naruto tried to juggle the 4 water balloons as he tried to get them back into control. Oh no. Sploosh. This. Splash. Whoo. Kyuubi walked away whistling a tune that it heard. Naruto sat in the middle of a puddle, soaked. We superpowers have it tough. He complained as sat there. Kyuubi called out to him from afar. Maybe you should stock up on brains instead. Naruto raced after his friend, intending to maim the 9-tailed fox, while said fox raced away laughing. Hey Naruto, what happened to you? Liz asked as she looked at the soaked form Naruto, who she had met by the door of the Hermes cabin. Luke was holding his balls and on the floor of the cabin for some reason that Naruto could not figure out. Naruto gave her no reply and she sighed. In any case, why don't you go get your swim trunks on? We're having a barbecue for lunch today later. Okay. But what's with Luke? Liz looked at the in pain form of the head counselor with a look that Naruto knew that girls gave when they were upset about something. Oh, him? He's fine. She said as she waved it off. Luke just curled farther into a ball as the girl's gray eyes did the Athena glare. Looking back at Naruto she changed the subject. So, met me in front of my cabin after you get dressed so I can measure you and afterwards we can go, fine by you. Good. But the fine look at the downed form of Luke, Liz stormed off with a humph. Luke looked at Naruto as the door closed behind her. Is she gone? Yeah, why? What happened? Kid, let me tell you something that I learned after all my years of my mortal life. Never ever get on a female's bad side. Huh? Let's leave it at that. Can you run and get me an ice pack Ethan? Thanks. Luke moaned. This is it, the time where our hero is claimed. How, you may ask, will he be claimed? If you all paid any attention to the way the plot is going. Kyuubi, what are you going on about? Naruto stopped twitching, I need you to hold still. You will notice that I, the author of this amazing or pathetic humans story, had been giving you a lack of information. In chapter 1 I have stated that 3 goddesses all have plans for the naked ape. I will turn you into a rug Kyuubi. Yea, hear me a rug. Naruto Jackson. If you don't hold still and stay quiet until I am done I will make sure that there will be no more cookies for you until the summer's end. But I have never the one stated that they knew of each other's plans for their said son. In any case they will soon know as Naruto will face the perils of being wooed by the opposite sex. His mortal enemy, so seeks to claim him as her own, shall enact her plans to enslave the poor innocents. What's the male version of a maiden anyway? Still a maiden or just a idiot that does know what his tool is used for. In any case, be prepared for the next chapter of Naruto Son of the Queens. This story is fiction and events in said story must not be attempted in real life as none of you have any sort of mythical powers or beings to save you. This tale is copyright protected by international law and by the site. All material belongs to the respected authors to the wit of Naruto and Percy Jackson. So sit back, turn down the lights, and start reading. I wish I knew who he was talking to. There's nobody else here other than me and Liz. And what's this about 3 goddesses anyway? Dang blasted shish kebab fairies, I want to know more. I am not a maiden. Do I look like a girl to you? Also, will Naruto be able to survive Artemis's cooking? See in a future chapter that shall not be given to make you all suffer. For I am the almighty Kyuubi, with a single swipe of my tails. Oh, wait, the story has started. Just when I was doing my monologue too. Naruto. I said be still. When I am done I am telling Chiron so that there are no more cookies for you. But. No buts Mr. I hate you Kyuubi. I will enjoy the cookies that you will be unable to eat Naruto. TTTHPP. Liz, if I behave can I earn my cookies back and a favor? Yes, but what is the favor? Can you get me a flamethrower? Sweat drop. No. Kit, the Bambi eyes won't work on her. Now if you don't mind, I'm going to fast forward so that you can get to the good part. What do you mean z. Naruto lied on the sand happily eating his hot dog. His friend Kyuubi was next to him, eating the remains of his fourth seagull and tuna sandwich. All around them, campers were enjoying the lunch on the beach. Zeus and Poseidon were letting the camp have a wonderful time. Apollo's chariot rays of light poured down onto the campers. Naruto made no comment as one of the god's daughters gave the sun a glare. Why? Because several of the oldest girl campers seemed to have a lot of attention from the sun today. This is the life. No monsters, lots of girls in sexy swimwear, good food and drink, this a fine day at the beach. Said a son of Hermes as he looked at the girls playing volleyball. He yipped as his girlfriend pressed the point of her spear near his lower legs. What I meant to say is that I am lucky to have such a beauty to myself and I should only have my eyes to her. You're lucky you're cute. Now get me a hamburger or else I might remember what you just said. The girl said as she pressed her weapon against the boy's groin before taking it off. Now get going. Yes. Naruto watched as the older boy got up and did what was asked of him by the girl. You know Kyuubi, I don't understand what is up with the guys and gals when they act that way as they get older. I mean, why can't she get up and do it herself? I'm resting here brat. You will understand when you get to your teens and out of your innocent stage of life. For now, reap the rewards of being young. Naruto frowned and looked at his friend. For a so-called super-powered fox you are super lazy. Why wouldn't you tell me? And ruin the surprise that will greet you? Well, if I tell him a bit, it would possibly make it harder for that girl to enslave him. Or it could backfire. Then again, this is Naruto Jackson I am talking about. I want to know. Know what Naru Naruto turned his head around and up to look into the shining golden brown eyes of Mackenzie. Her deep raven locks tumbled down her back and side of her head with a memorizing pattern. Her lips curled into a sweet smile as she looked Naruto over. Her hand raised up and moved some of her hair behind her ear and she leaned forward towards Naruto. You can ask me if you want. I don't think Kyuubi is interested to tell you the answers that you seek. Kyuubi's eyes narrowed at the girl as Naruto repeated his question and Kyuubi's answer to her. She raised a manicured fingernail to her chin and gave Naruto a look. Kyuubi's right Naruto about you being too young. However, I could tell you at a later date if you want. Is that okay with you? Pinky promise? Naruto asked, his face covered by her shadow. I promise. She raised her other hand and connected her pinky with Naruto's. Giving Naruto a wink she asked, can you help me with something? Sure, what is it? I need someone to put sunscreen on my back. Can you help? Naruto nodded and Mackenzie smiled. Takes Naruto. Give me a moment to grab my towel and the sunscreen, K. Kit, be careful of her. Why Kyuubi? She's nice, even if her father is Thane in death. Kyuubi slapped its face with one of its tails and groaned. That's not it brat. The group that she's a part of, I know that they are a part of something. Something big is going to happen Naruto, and you need to keep your guard up. Before Kyuubi could continue, Mackenzie returned with the items in hand. Putting down her towel, she handed Naruto the sunscreen and lied down on her towel. Make sure you get everywhere Naru I don't want a sunburn today thank you. For all you readers out there I am afraid that I, Kyuubi, will leave what happens left to your imagination. Naruto harder. It feels so good. Mackenzie what's going on Naruto's giving you a back rub and doing you sunscreen. Naruto, if it's okay with you can you do mine as well? Mine too. Me next. I have nothing to say. Nothing. Onward author, get us to the Friday so that he shall be claimed. Friday. Capture the flag. Usually the air was full of excitement for the game, but there was tension in the air. The deadline for the quest was only a few days away and the people on the quest had gone missing. Many of Naruto's brother's opponents and others said that he must have ran away. Naruto didn't believe that. Percy was his brother and the older one. His adopted mother said to Percy many times when she thought Naruto wasn't listening that it was the elder siblings that took care of the younger ones. She did tell Naruto that the younger siblings listened to his elder sibling, but also to be his own person, while not trying to give Percy gray hairs. Naruto made sure after that to give his brother heck after that. In a friendly brotherly manner that is. In any case, tonight's game was the Hermes cabin, red vs Athena cabin, blue. Luke had made alliances with Ares, Demeter and Apollo cabins. Athena had gotten the rest. Liz was the substitute head of the cabin as her sister was on the quest and had shown that she was a daughter of the war goddess of strategy by getting the daughters of the love goddess to play seriously in tonight's match. Something that had gotten the envy of many of the campers as the cabin of the love goddess usually sat out during the games and less against the hunters of Artemis. Side note, tell Artemis that she should probably change her name if the hunt comes, as I am unsure what the goddess Artemis will think of the demigod having her name. Naruto thought as he put on his colors and armor. He shuddered as the females on the other team gave him a look that sent him into fight or flight mode, as Chiron described it. The girls that he helped at the beach also had pink to their cheeks and only increased as Naruto asked if they were okay. The guys were either amused by this or upset, much to Naruto confusion. He chalked it up as something that older kids cared about and something he would learn when he got older. Okay, listen up. Here's the deal. Liz is the enemy leader in this and knows how all the cabins work together the best. If we are to win, we will need to hit hard, fast, and silent. Ares and Apollo cabins. Make teams of 4 with 2 members each in each squad. The leftovers will be the outer guards for the flag. The Scrolls and Demeter cabin will line the border with traps or poison ivy. I want the opposing team to come at us from head on, fresh or tired and not thinking straight if from the sides. Hermes cabin will be here, between our flag and the border. Their job is to be the force that Liz thinks is going to invade her territory. Luke said as he gave the team's strategy. But Luke, Anor's camper, spoke, who's going to get the flag? Simple. We need someone small, light on their feet and can blend in. As one, the camper's eyes turned towards Naruto, who was in the middle of yet another fight with his stuffed fox. Luke's sweat dropped at the scene and the members of the blue team, minus Naruto, gave Luke a look that screamed, really? Clearing his throat, Luke got Naruto's attention. Okay kid, here's your part. An Athena camper walked along the border of the creek, bored. He was near tired and annoyed as he'd rather be part of the counterforce that his sister made. If he was paying any attention to his surroundings, the camper would have noticed the ripples coming from the creek. Alas, he did not notice as he was too deep in his thoughts. Wailing towards the water, he looked around. Seeing nothing, he turned to start the other way. Before he could react, a hand covered his face and he and his assailant fell back into the creek without a sound. After several minutes passed, Naruto rose out of the water and hightailed it up a tree. The Athena camper was knocked out, tied up on the bottom of the creek bed with a nymph that called the creek home guarding him. It was a nice trade. She guards the camper while Naruto promised to brush her hair sometime after the game. His eyes narrowed as he raced across the treetops with Kyuubi leading the way, as the fox had better night vision. Wait. Naruto and Kyuubi stopped as a patrol of campers sent by under them. 3 campers. All sons of Aphrodite. Take out the rear member first and I will take the leading one. Leave the middle one for last. Kyuubi raced down in silence, stalked towards the front of the patrol. Naruto took out a buggy cord and wrapped it around his legs and a strong tree branch. After waiting a few long seconds, Kyuubi gave the signal. Naruto dropped and wrapped his arms around the camper he targeted, knocking him out in the process. The cord pulled him and the camper up fast and quietly. The other campers noticed when they didn't hear their brother's footfalls. As soon as the duo turned around, Kyuubi jumped and in one swift move, knocked out the leader. Using the force and angle of the blow, both the camper and Kyuubi rolled into the underbush. The last son of Aphrodite became very uneasy and confused. He had just lost his brothers in a manner that terrified him. Before he could call out an alarm, a pair of hands reached out from below him from the earth and pulled him down. A blur of orange was all he could see before he was knocked out. That was too close, Kyuubi. If it wasn't for all those book on Ninja and Call of Duty, I think that this would be harder. Naruto hissed to his friend as they went back into the trees, heading for the flag. That is why we need to move, brat. The flag is close, however I smell several traps and several hidden guards. Let's swing to the left and come around from behind so that as soon as you grab the flag, it will be a straight line back to the border. Okay. Luke bit back a swear as the blue team's forces pushed deeper into the Reds' territory. Liz really was showing her stuff as she had forced her way around the corner of the border and assaulted the red team in compete and utter vengeance. I knew that she was good, but this is crazy, he thought as he deflected a spear thrust with his sword. Liz was holding on to the red team's flag and was being protected by her team by being in the center with layers of her teammates surrounding her. The fighting was heavy as the red team tried to get back the flag or delay the movement of the enemy. However, Luke wasn't worried. He was worried that his plan was in tatters. He had sent Naruto alone into the enemy territory on a hunch and he had no idea the status of the kid. As one, every eye turned and widened towards the source of the sound. There was Naruto, holding the flag, screaming as the blue team flag guards chased him. Naruto raced across the border, flag in hand, as no one could understand what just happened. Red team wins. Chiron declared as he blew his horn. He was amused and interested on how the blue team lost this time. It will a good story, I hope. The red team was too tired to cheer and Liz was trying to keep from laughing. Okay guys, we lost. She told her team in good nature. Her brothers and sisters looked at her if she was crazy. After all the hard work and build-up, stopped by a young brat that had gotten the flag. It was then that it was if lightning struck the campers and Chiron. As one they looked at the flag and Naruto. What? The light appeared over Naruto's head. As one, everyone waited to see who Naruto's godly parent was. Every jaw dropped and Chiron was barely able to get out the words. All hail Naruto, son of Hera, Persephone, and Amphitrite. Hail the son of the queens. All hail Naruto, son of Hera, Persephone, and Amphitrite. Hail the son of the queens. Chiron declared. There was a hush as everyone stared at the banner and the lights over Naruto. Then Chiron fainted from the stress of everything that was happening. Mr. D was looking like he always knew the universe was out to get him, and this proved it. The campers started to talk in hushed tones, some with a bit of anger, others with pity. So we got another claim day. This time by the king's wives. Shit, they're going to blow their heads off. You think? Persephone and Amphitrite have had demigods before, but Hera has never had any. She is the goddess of marriage, and her husband is the one to have affairs, not her. I wonder what kind of demigod abilities he'll have. Oh, this means that he isn't related to anyone here. I wonder if they will object to their son being mine, I mean, our pet. Great, now we have a new celerity. Well, at least the cabin is reduced by 1. If only we could expand and increase the total carrying capacity of the cabin as well. Can I eat him? Kyuubi asked Naruto as the fox looked at the downed trainer of heroes with a gleam in its eyes. Naruto snapped his head towards the fox, trying not to hear the whispers all around him. No. I wanted to know what human horse tasted like. I have tried human and I have tried horse, but never both at once. Cavalry doesn't count, too much time separating the armor, and I don't like eating human. Too easy to kill. Even if you have no teeth, claws, scales, feathers, poison, hoofs, fur, or. I get the idea, Kyuubi. More like the animal kingdom version of fast food if you ask a large or medium-sized predator kid. Kyuubi? What? Asked the fox, acting like it hadn't heard Naruto until now. Naruto rolled his eyes and looked up at the lights over his head. He found the patterns of the three hitting each other and each trying to get over the center of his head interesting. Unbidden, an old memory rose from the back of his mind. It wasn't clear, but he could make out a red eye with 3 commas encircling the iris. The eye and the light slowly started to change shape into something else. All the 3 lights became 1 light with a part of a symbol of power of each goddess. The eye's design changed into 3 stretched evenly spaced triangles around the pupil that had a curve at the top around the eye to form a circle, making it similar to a pinwheel. Then an image of a girl entered his mind. A sharp pain flared like someone just hammered a red-hot iron into his temple of his head. Naruto cried out in pain as his body blacked out, trying to block the pain out. As he fell, several campers raced to his aid to make sure he was okay. Several campers slowly backed away. Kyuubi watched as they stayed nearby, but far enough away to talk without being given a second look. The best thing about these ears is that I can't overhear what they are saying, it thought to itself. What it heard made the fox shiver to the core. I got to warn Naruto. A single red eye opened as its owner felt a pulse of chakra that it had thought it would never had felt. A lone girl in a cell head chakra spiked and the owner watched as the chakra started to move towards the direction of the sea. The owner's eye narrowed as it thought about this turn of events. After he had lost the Kyuubi host, he had thought that Moon Eye plan was never going to be complete. Now, he knew an idea of the direction of where the girl's brother was. He cursed as he felt the walls of his prison for the girl shake. The third Zanbu and the Toad Sage were determined to get in. After years of hiding the girl so that he could find the Kyuubi brat, the thrice-damned Leaf Shinobi found out about her general whereabouts. Too bad for the fourth, his daughter had lived up to her usefulness. Thobi opened the cell and walked to the girl that had been his prisoner for many years. Taking out a kunai, he slit the girl's throat and used her blood to write the Toad Sage a message. You failed him and now on the eve on your revenge for his death, here lies his daughter. It is a shame, she was a screamer in bed. The things we did were worthy of being in your books. Here's her core. She has outlived her usefulness to me anyway. The Kyuubi is after all waiting for me to collect it. That was what Jiraiya and the Anbu found written on the wall, with the girl's body on the ground, her blood pooling around her. Tyron and Mr. D were at opposite sides of the living room, each in their own world. Mr. D was rubbing his head in thought of the claiming that happened earlier in the night. Naruto was asleep on the 2nd floor as Luke pointed out that while he could be in the Hermes cabin, as he had 2 minor godparents, the other one of his mothers was Hera. Chiron was in his wheelchair, not trusting his legs to work. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad, the trainer of heroes chanted like he was possessed or in a trance. If this was any other time, Mr. D would have rubbed it in the older immortal's face. However, it was getting annoying. Mr. D's thoughts went back towards Naruto's claiming. Persephone and Amphitrite have had demigods before, but Persephone had kids during her time away from Hades with Demeter's influence, and Amphitrite had them usually if she fell for a young stud that treated her like a jewel, and after a major argument with her husband. Hera was a shock, as the goddesses was not one for affairs. That was the old spark that had a sexual inferiority complex that made him pop kids left and right. But never in most deranged state did the god of wine believe that they would have a son together. Not by choice, the claiming was as chaotic as what it was. He took a sip of alcohol-laced nectar. Not as good as wine or beer, it was a god's poor man's substitute. I have never seen anything like that. With the deadline hours to minutes away. I can't think while he's like that. I could do that. Mr. D got up and walked around until he was standing in the doorway right behind Chiron. Using his powers, he willed the room to become soundproof and covered the room the boy was in with a soundproof cocoon. Clearing his throat, Mr. D took a deep breath. Chiron, what is the meaning of this? Why has this child been claimed by my wife? Mr. D roared in Zeus's voice. It was something that he, Apollo, Ares, and Hermes had mastered. The art of voice mimicry. It was a great trick for parties after all. Chiron screamed loud enough to wake the dead and flew straight up though the ceiling into the second story. He came back down with a crash. He quickly got up and turned to see Dionysus rolling on the floor, laughing at the centaur's expense. Eyebrow twitching, the centaur coughed to get the god's attention. Do you mind? We are at a break of a war between the gods, and you are playing party tricks. He roared. It's all a bit of fun, Chiron. Mr. D took a sip of his drink. And it got you out of that funk you were in. There's nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Chiron roared into the god's face. They took a step back as Chiron's anger and fear started to seep into every corner of the room. See here, nephew, well, you are a true immortal and have to follow the rules. I have a responsibility to these children. I watch every one of the campers come here over the years, see them grow up and die by a monster, or if they are lucky, old age. I have seen too many die, and that boy is innocent. Innocent? Chiron, that boy is anything but that. He is different than any other half-blood I have ever seen. I'm not sure if he is even a true half-blood. The only reason I can tell he is a half-blood is because I can tell that half his blood and flesh is human. Even if it feels often seeming like it has been charged by something. The two immortals' eyes stared into each other, one with anger and worry, the other out of boredom. A flash of light stopped the stare down. Yo, Chiron, bro, Pops wants to see the newly claimed demigod. "'K if I take him?" A tired Hermes stated as he typed on his iPad. Chiron opened his mouth to object, but Dionysus opened his mouth first. Go right ahead. Hermes nodded and flashed out. After a few seconds, a loud scream that was identifiable as Naruto's filled the night air from the home of the gods. Perverts. Percy Jackson was wondering when did his life become something out of a video game. It all started when he was on a field trip. Mrs. Dodds had taken him aside after Nancy had gotten soaked. Mrs. Dodds was his pre-algebra teacher until she became a fury, which Percy killed with a click pen turned bronze sword that his Latin teacher tossed at him. By luck, he was able to kill the monster, only to have the whole school forget about Mrs. Dodds and a new teacher take her place. After months of wondering if he was insane, Percy was able to get Grover to squeal just a bit. After telling his friend about the three old ladies at the fruit stand cutting the tread, Grover freaked Percy out by talking about the 6th grade and how they never seemed to survive after that. So Percy ditched him and went home. His younger adopted brother was ecstatic to see him, which lifted Percy's spirits after the scare Grover gave him. Smelly Gabe tried to stop the breach trip that Sally planned, but she was able to convince him that everything would be okay. As if. In the middle of the night, Grover was at the beach, pounding on the door. Naruto was asleep, and Percy was stuck carrying him to the car as his mother was scared. Grover, who happened to be half-goat, was no help at all. Then, of course, some egoistical airhead that spent too much time thinking about his two favorite tools than to think logically blamed him and or Naruto as thieves for stealing his boomstick. No, not that one, as Hera would have mixed feeling if that stick went bye-bye. Moving on. Soon after the quest began, the bus blew up, leaving the group on foot. And thanks to his stomach and Anubis, instead of being feed, they almost became monster chow to Medusa. They were able to get tickets for turning a dog in that had a pink bow, only to hear the lady calling for it to come back as it ran away as soon as they were out of sight, but not up of earshot. Annabeth was excited to see the arch, spewing out every fact and detail that she had in her memory to Percy and Grover as they rode up the elevator to the top. Of course, Percy had Tuta trapped on the top floor with the mother of all monsters, the terrible anteater Echidna. Let it be known that she hates the land down under for naming that anteater after her. Even if it had Western ideals, it was too far away for her to have her revenge, Percy hoped. In another life, Percy would have had been overwhelmed by her son, the Chimera, attacks. He would have had been forced to choose to jump and possibly be killed by the hide or be roosted. But this was not that life. In this one, Percy, while not the brightest tool in the shed, was forced to think on his feet because of his brother. And that meant thinking ahead and being prepared for nearly anything. The two monsters were lacking of information. After all, he was a fresh demigod that was barely trained, that did poorly in school. They thought nothing of the spheres that he rolled around on the floor. Until he asked them if they knew what happens when sodium and potassium got wet. They were blown away with the fact that when wet, they react violently when gotten wet. Mixed with celestial bronze dust that he collected from forges at camp, Percy was able to mix the bronze, sodium and potassium dust together in a manner that if it got wet at all, the resulting explosion would injure, blind, and cripple monsters' senses momentarily. The chances of killing a monster was low, but Percy was hoping to change that with a later batch. Percy was able to thrust his sword through the head of the Chimera, thus killing it while it was stunned. He was forced to flee by jumping out the hole in the wall to escape its mother's rage for him killing her son and burning of a side of her face. When Percy told Grover and Annabeth what happened, the daughter of Athena spent the next several minutes muttering to herself things like, "I thought he an idiot." Things like that as she slammed her head multiple times against the window. Grover was happy that Percy survived. The spoil for killing the monster Percy lost, which was upsetting, but at least he got a location of where to go when they got to California. Then they had to work for Ares to get his shield back. It took all of Percy's willpower not to shove his balls of bronze, sodium and potassium down the god's throat after the god of war complimented his brother while at the same time insulting him. It was worth blowing up the Cupid statues that were recording them after they survived the trap. After being in the hotel of the Locust Eaters and seeing Annabeth and Grover grow a bit, the trio went to the underworld. Where Grover was nearly killed by the shoes that Luke gave to Percy he himself gave to Grover. Now here he was with Annabeth and Grover, about to meet the Lord of the Underworld. Hades. "Ready?" Percy asked as he looked at the skeleton guards that were guarding the doors to the throne room. Grover nodded and Annabeth shook her head. "We are about to confront a god who is the oldest of the brothers to see if he will return the bolt to his brother while trying to stop a war. Which the owner of the bolt thinks you stole. Are you ready?" Percy rolled his eyes. "Yeah." The trio walked up to the door. However, before they could ask to enter, Grover pushed the two demigods down as the doors flew open and a giant flower pot flew through the spot where their heads were moments ago. Strings of Greek curses and shouting that the trio didn't hear before entered the hall. Looking up, Percy saw a man with pale skin and black hair dodging and blasting pots with shadows on one side of the room, who could only be Hades. On the other side was a lady that had fair skin and light brown hair throwing pots and using plants to protect herself from the blasts of shadows. Why is Persephone here fighting her husband? Percy thought as last he checked it was summer. As they watched, three forms landed next to them. Grover whimpered as the Furies looked at the fighting and the demigods. Annabeth clutched her dagger and Percy took out his pen as the Furies started at the chaos in the throne room. "You three better wait until they cool down." One of the Furies spoke as she used her whip to block a blast of shadow that came towards the group. "But we need to see," Annabeth began before being cut off. "Listen, demigod. Those two have been at it since Friday night, ever since the spawn of the sea here brother got claimed." Percy looked at the Fury. "Naruto was claimed. Who claimed him?" The Furies looked at him. The one who had yet to speak turned into Ms. Dodds. "Percy Jackson, the reason that those two are fighting is because of you brother." Grover's and Annabeth's eyes widened. "Naruto is the son of Hades?" Grover asked. Ms. Dodds nodded. "No, you idiot. He is the son of the queen of the underworld." The questing member's jaws dropped. One of the unnamed Furies spoke next. "He is also apparently the son of the queens of the other big three as well." But. Annabeth stuttered as her brain tried to understand. Grover fainted and Percy gawked his math teacher. "How?" The Furies looked at each other then back to the group. "We don't know." An explosion rocked the hall and the Furies cursed. "We have to make sure everything is okay. Wait here and do not enter until they cool off." Before the group could answer, the Furies dissipated into the shadows. After a few minutes of watch the two immortals attack each other, Percy had enough. Knowing that it was stupid and risky, he took out two of his mixtures and rolled each one to immortal. Seeing what he was going to do, all Grover and Annabeth could do was think and pray that Percy wasn't going to die. As soon as they were close enough, Percy used his powers to condense the water vapor in the room around the spheres. Bang. "Who dares?" roared Hades as he and his wife turned towards the hallway, form flickering. Percy gulped as the two immortals towered over him. At least they stopped fighting, he thought as he bowed. Hades and Persephone looked at the bowing demigods and calmed down a fraction. "Nephew, great niece, Satyr, why have you come to my domain?" Hades growled out as he walked to his throne, his wife doing the same. After sitting down, he looked at the forms of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. Percy licked his lips. "Lord and Uncle, Lady Persephone," he began. I come here with 2 requests." "Oh? And what are they?" Persephone asked with an edge to her voice. Hades' eyes narrowed. Look, a war between the gods would be bad." "Really bad," Grover added helpfully. Annabeth groaned as the immortal's eyes narrowed further, causing Grover to bow in fear. "Are you telling me, demigod, that I am the reason that my brothers are about to start a civil war?" Something in Hades' voice sent warning bells ringing in Percy's mind. But his ADHD won out and he blurted, "But didn't you steal the Master Bolt?" Percy yipped as a blast of shadow landed next to him, obliterating the stones there. "How dare you keep up this pretense, boy, after what you have done?" "Hades?" Persephone snapped at her husband. Lord Hades, what has Percy done?" The Lord of the Underworld looked at the daughter of his niece. "And what do you mean after what he has done?" The walls of the place shook as the god bellowed out, "Do you think I wish a war?" Before the trio could answer, Persephone shook her head, letting them know it would be a mistake to answer. Hades started to moan and cry as he started up talking about all the problems in the underworld. Everyone in the room sweat dropped, including the skeletons, as he curled into a ball muttering over and over one about all the paperwork he had to do and more. Shaking her head, Persephone looked at the demigods and Satyr. "Understand this, young ones. My husband has the hardest job compared to his brothers. Poseidon comes second, but he is able to take breaks. My husband has little time for pleasure and the number of mortals has increased, thus increasing his workload. A war would only drive him more insane than anything else." "But didn't he steal the Master Bolt?" She frowned and Hades looked at his nephew. "Open your backpack." Percy did so and drew out a 2-foot-long metal cylinder that crackled with power. "Percy? I don't understand." Percy spoke with shock, his mind racing. "The bag is the bolt sheath, boy. No matter where my father's bolt lie, it will always return to the sheath after some time." The queen of the underworld hissed softly with anger. "The only reason that my husband has not called his armies to kill you is because of me. Now, how did you come by the bolt sheath? The Furies did not see it on your persons when they were on the bus. So how?" "It was a gift," Percy began before it hit. He growled with anger. "Ares? Ares? What about him?" inquired Hades, eyes narrowed and leaning forward. Percy's fingernails dug into his skin as he recalled details from when he had met the god of war. "Ares said that he told Poseidon that it was you who stole the bolt. And he has been the only god in the west that we have met other than you two. And he was the one to arrange the Rid to Law and gave us the supplies and the backpack." The 2 immortals looked at each other. After a few 10 seconds, Hades looked at Percy hard. "I have a request, boy. I will allow to leave he under your own power and confront Ares. However, I want you to find my helm as well. Do so and your mother will be returned to you." "Lord Hades, your helm is missing as well?" Annabeth asked. "Yes. Now, I believe that Percy had pearls that will allow you 3 to leave. I will be waiting for you to finish the job." And Percus Hades looked hard at him. "Make Ares suffer if he is the one who has my bolt." "With pleasure." As soon as they were gone, the 2 immortals looked at each other. And started to fight again over the subject that they were in the middle of fighting before. Over Persephone's son, Naruto. "Time skip." Percy handed the helm to Ms. Dodds and walked towards his friends. A flash of light appeared and an immortal that he didn't know appeared. "Mom!" Annabeth exclaimed as the goddess stood before them. Annabeth, Grover, Percus. Athena looked at each, carefully moving from one to the next. When she looked at Percy, he gulped. "You did well, Percy Jackson. Atlas, you could have done better, but because you are new to this life, I will not hold it against you. Now follow me, you 3. The summer solstice is nearly upon us and time is of the most importance." "Where are we going?" Grover asked. Athena waved her hand and a black military car appeared with the symbol of an owl on the front. "I am taking you and my daughter to camp and Percy to Olympus." Looking at Percy, she smiled at his unease. "I will not kill or harm you, son of Poseidon. You have my word as a goddess." "Couldn't I take a plane?" Athena snorted after hearing his question. "My father will shoot you down even if it meant losing his weapon. Your brother has irked Zeus and in the mood is in he will kill you." "So it is true that Naruto is the son of all 3 of the queen goddesses?" Athena looked at her daughter. "Yes, but that is not what has angered my father." Percy was afraid to ask. "What did Naruto do?" Athena blushed as she thought about what happened. Hermes was tasked to bring him before the council for questioning. He was tired and was not paying attention to where your brother was. Because of the lack of attention, Naruto was brought before Zeus when Naruto was going to the restroom. Grover fainted and the 2 demigods' jaws dropped. Naruto peed on the king of the gods. They yelled together wondering how he was still alive. Athena's blush darkened as the image of Naruto's tool came into her mind. I wonder how big it is going to be. No. Bad Athena, but it's going to be big when he grows up. The sky rumbled, thus shaking Athena from her thoughts. She wiped a trail of ichor that was leaking from her nose. Opening the door she waved the satyr and demigods in. I'll think of it later. Percy clung onto his seat in fear as the sky rumbled around the group as Athena drove through the grey clouds. Annabeth was next to him opposite of Grover, looking around the vehicle with a mixture of awe and fear. Awe because she was inside her mother's chariot, looking at all the designs within the vehicle and the papers that were stacked in the back. Her fear was about Percy. He was the son of her mother's rival, and being in here was risky. Her mother won't outright kill Percy, not until she had reason to, so she had nothing to fear, she hoped. Athena looked at the two demigods and the satyr via her rearview mirror. Annabeth, she started. Yes. Athena's grey orb stared into her daughter's own. After a few moments she cracked a soft smile. You did well on your first quest. You did well also, Grover Underwood. Annabeth beamed and Grover stammered out a thank you, Lady Athena. Percy Jackson. Percy stiffened as he felt the goddesses of war and wisdom eyes land on him. Oh, don't be like that. You did well, but you as well as my daughter could have done better. However, as this was the first time for her to leave the camp and you have only been a part of our world for not that long, you did well. I expect you to do better, so make sure you both study well. Yes, Athena, mother. By the way, do you still have one of those orbs you used against the anteater and her son? I am interested on how you made them and your use of your powers combined with them to defeat a much stronger foe. I thought you were going to be an idiot, but after what I saw I took it back. Percy rubbed the back of his head and chuckled. Well, my brother and I do pranks against each other and others. So I think after all the times we've done pranking I've learned that it is best to have a trump card or at least a backup plan in case something goes wrong. I took an interest in chemistry around a year ago and even thought it's one of my best subjects. The only reason that I was let into Yancy Academy was because of my high grades in that subject. Athena was silent as she listened to the son of Poseidon run on about the things he and his brother did to his stepfather. She had a folder on that piece of work. Sally Jackson must love her biological son very much if she was with that man. No, a walrus perhaps. No, that was cruel to the Adobenus Rosberus. Maybe a hut, yes, a hut was a better example of Gabe. Clearing her throat, she raised an eyebrow at Percy. Percy, sensing that perhaps he should take out one of the orbs, as Grover and Annabeth were both mouthing at him to do so, took out his last one and handed it to the waiting goddess's hand. Athena looked at it closely. Interesting. I, like many of the gods, were listening to you as you faced off your foes in the arch. Is that gunpowder I detect? Yes. I added it to this one just after the events of the water park Ares sent us to. I have yet to test it out compared to the other ones I made. Annabeth elbowed Percy as one of Athene's eyebrows started to twitch. Please continue. I shall. Percus, what you have done has piqued my interest and few of the Barnacle-Beard's children have ever done so. Because of this I want to grant you a minor blessing. Grover gave a loud baw in surprise. Annabeth and Percy gawked at the goddess. Oh, don't give me those looks. Myself and my uncle do grant blessing to each other's children. The last time I granted a blessing was to one of his daughters in the 1700s. He gave my son and a son of Hermes his blessing when they went to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Thank you, Lady Athena. Percy said. Athena waved her hand and Percy felt slightly different. Not much different but different. What was your blessing anyway? Athena smirked in the rearview mirror. Naruto and Percy stood in front of the doors to the entrance to the chamber of the Council of the Gods, at least Percy hoped it was. Athena had dropped Annabeth and Grover at camp and picked up Naruto and his stuffed fox. So this is Mount Olympus. Too much white and gold. Like someone is trying to hide all the loving that has happened over the years. Kyuubi stated aloud as it followed Naruto. Then again, if I was the king of the gods I would want to try to hide as much of my lovemaking as I could. So Naruto, heard you were claimed, Percy said awkwardly as he tried to revile some of the tension in the air. Naruto shrugged. Yeah. Anything interesting happened when I was gone? I was the winner of Capture the Flag because I captured the flag. That's how I was claimed. Naruto looked at his brother. I wish you were there, Percy, to see me do so. Percy reached out and tousled Naruto's hair. Oh, come on, bro. You know I would have been there if not for the missing bolt. Yeah, after a few moments both brothers and Kyuubi entered. The first thing that came to the boys' minds was that everything was huge. While Naruto was here before, he was flashed out seconds after he was brought in to see the council. It wasn't a very good impression for both Naruto and the gods. Percy hoped that this time it would be different. Heck, he was saying a prayer to the goddess of luck so that Zeus wouldn't try to blast them. Looking around with his eyes, Percy noted that all the members of the council were here, including Hades. There was a woman that Percy assumed was Amphitrite as she was siding in a guest throne next to who he believed to be Poseidon. The air was heavy as the brothers walked. The eyes of all the immortals was on them, judging them as they got closer to Zeus and Percy's father. As Percy passed my Poseidon, he bowed. After a few seconds, he started to walk again, then dropped to one knee in front of the king of the gods. The tension was so thick in the air that Percy would have sworn that he could feel it as a physical sensation. "Oi! Pervy king!" Naruto yelled at the king of the gods. Snickers were quickly silenced as soon as Zeus glared left and right. "You still haven't said that you're sorry. Mom said that you should say sorry to those that you have wronged. So say sorry to me." "Why should I say sorry, brat? You went and peed on me." Zeus thundered and glared at Naruto. Naruto glared and shouted right back. "You are the one that had your son grab me when I was about to use the toilet. That is why he is getting punished, you immature brat." "Immature? You're older than me by several thousand years. I reserve the right to act my age, what about you?" Naruto yelled as he shook his finger at the god. "Burn." A blonde-haired man stage whispered, but the words still were loud enough to reach everyone's ears. Kyuubi snickered at Zeus' infuriated face as the god tried to come up with a comeback. "Good one, kid." "Thanks, Kyuubi," Naruto said to his friend before looking back at Zeus. "And also, if I'm the immature one, what does that make you, you big perverty jerk?" Percy, acting quickly before Naruto could really get the thunder god upset, grabbed him by his collar and pulled him back. "Are you trying to get us both killed?" Percy hissed at his brother. Before Naruto could answer, Poseidon cleared his throat. "Perhaps, Percy, it would be best if you return my brother's bolt." Knowing that it was properly the best course of action, Percy laid the bolt and its sheath on the floor in front of Zeus's feet. The bolt leapt from the bag into Zeus's hands. The king let out a sign as he held onto his weapon, before looking at Percy. "You have my thanks, demigod, for returning my bolt." Percy bowed and forced Naruto to bow as well. "I thank you, my lord." A blast of lightning went from the bolt and struck Ares, sending him flying. Smoking, Ares got up and was about to open his mouth before he closed it with a click. Most would think that Ares was not a smart god, which was true compared to Athena and Apollo, but nevertheless, he was far from stupid. And he knew it would be best not to enrage his father's wrath any more than it was. Now on to other business. What to do here with the son of the queens? Naruto paced the deck of the ship as her caretaker Obito steered. She was bored and the last time she was on land was when they left the harbor. Flopping down, she let out a frustrated moan. "Obi, when are we going to get where we are going anyway? I'm bored." Obito let out a groan as the girl started to whine and complain. "Why did I listen to sensei when he tasked me to take care of his kids?" Obito wondered as he watched the girl puff up her cheeks and wave her arms. Naruko's red hair rose and she glared at her caretaker. "I want to know, sensei." She half-growled shouted. Obito shivered as the girl reminded him of Minato's late wife, Kushina Uzumaki, when she was upset. "Take care of her, Obito," he said. "Don't let the elders use her," he said. "Don't let my traitorous student lay his hands on my daughter," he said. How was I supposed to know that he had a son until I saw the third seal the Kyuubi into him after Kushina gave birth to him and then kill sensei's wife? Obito shook his head as he tried not to remember that night that he had failed his sensei. "If the Moon Eye plan works the way that I planned it, I will be able to redeem myself to his eyes," he thought as he altered the ship's course by a few degrees. "We are heading off the edge of the map where ships sail, Naruto." "So we are going into unknown waters?" Naruto asked. "No." Obito was silent for a few moments. "No one that has sailed where we are going has ever made it past the line of known and unknown sea waters alive before. The only information that we have is based on old maps and rumors from sailors that dove into safe waters before the ships were lost." "Does the uncharted sea have a name?" Before Obito could answer, another voice joined the conversation. "It's called the Sea of Monsters, little girl. It is the sea that surrounds the elemental nations," Kakuzu stated as he walked on deck. The missing ninja of Takigakure took a seat on a barrel as he looked out over the waters. "When I was a young starting out ninja, my team and I were sent on a mission to track down and kill a man. The man was the leader of a bandit group. Normally we would have let him go after he had fled outside the border, but he had taken the son of our then future lady daimyo. After several days we found out that he had stolen a ship and was heading out to sea." "So then what?" Naruko asked as she rocked side to side. Kakuzu chucked at the girl's actions. She was a piece of work that he would say that scared him. She was one of the most dangerous females or Uzumaki that he had ever had the misfortune of crossing. At first glance she seemed like an carefree airhead. Few have ever survived when the girl got serious in a fight or when she put her mind to something. Once, she let herself be captured by bandits so that she could behead the leader herself. She then went through the camp naked, killing all the members of that party, using her body and innocent mask as bait. Her latest piece of work was making a blood clone, then leaving it at the base she was hiding in with Toby. Then she had rumors spread thought the Toad Sage's network of the location. Kakuzu wished he could have seen the looks on the Konoha ninjas' faces when they read the message that she had told Toby to write on the wall with the blood. Of course, the sage would have sealed the body to be taken to the village. However, the man didn't know that Naruto had placed a seal that would cause an explosion as soon as the body was unsealed, damaging the area it was in. We followed them of course, but by the time we reached them, they were crossing the border in order to escape. My sensei ordered the captain of the ship we had bought to pursue the man. I had a bad feeling and in the cover of the setting sun, stole a rowboat and some supplies and cast off. When I got a fair but far distance away did I look back. Only to see the ship sinking by something attacking it. When I made it back to port, I was half mad with fever and thirst. That is why I am going as far at the last port. I do not want to enter that sea. I may be immortal, but I am far from stupid. My lord, the heroes were successful of retrieving the bolt. Also, it seems that the war is off. Tell me, Castellan, do you think that I am a fool not to notice? Oh, of course not, my lord. I only thought. You thought, pathetic. My form I still be trapped in the pit, but that does not mean my mind is. Perhaps if you were thinking, you would have given the sea child and the girl you see as a sister the monster bait I had crafted. I couldn't risk the discovery of myself being the thief. Hey, why couldn't you have had number do it? She has proven herself far more helpful than you. Her plan was what nearly caused my children to go to war, not you stealing and bringing the bolt to one of my brethren. She is too intertwined in her interest Percy's brother, Naruto. Just like most of the girls are. Naruto. The son of Hera, Persephone and Amphitrite. Ah yes. You told me of him, but I had dismissed the information as I was paying attention to the arrival of my grandson. Tell me, how close are the brothers? Close, lord. It may be Percy Jackson's weakness as the two share a bond. Number wants to use him in her quest to bring down the gods. Be as something would break the will of my grandson then. Do as you must. And while she is the greatest asset, there are other ways to bring down the gods. You know what to do. Crystal. Naruto and Zeus glared at each other as the queens took spots around their son. Percy found himself next to his father's legs on a guest sit. 3 of the gods. Aphrodite, Dionysus and Hephaestus weren't even looking at his brother well, the goddess of love was staring into space, the smith god was tinkering with something, and Mr. D looked like he was slightly worried for Naruto. Aphrodite is probably thinking of what sort of love life my brother will have. Hephaestus doesn't seem to care, not sure that I blame him or not. But what's Mr. D's angle in this? He keeps calling all of us demigods by wrong names, and I can't think of any reason for him to have an interest that is in Naruto's favor. Considering that Naruto took all of his and Chiron's betting money, several gems, 2 packs of sodas, and the trainer's record albums. Percy was slightly scared for his brother. If it came down to it, Percy knew that he would somehow steal his brother's soul from his uncle or trade his own for his brother's. Artemis looked at her father with worry. After spending that day with Naruto, she had thought of the boy as a hunter's puppy that wanted to play and impress its mistress or little brother. Better than her twin, who was a major idiot for a god of intellect and pervert. Artemis idly wondered if she could trade brothers with Percy, but knew that she was stuck with Apollo. Who, even thought was a pain, was still family and someone that she could count on when she needed it. Looking to her brother, Artemis was going to ask him if he would like to do a hunt together, just the 2 of them, before seeing what was playing on this device. Apollo, who had taken out the headphones, looked at Naruto with interest before he felt as if he was going to be replaced, after which he felt a bit of happiness then danger. Gulping, he looked over his shoulder to see his sister glaring at him. Sweating quickly, the male twin archer immortal went back to observing the boy. For some reason, the boy felt off. Not from the number of goddesses being his immoral mother, but something else. Interesting, Apollo thought as he watched the boy look in defiance at Zeus. Hades wasn't sure what to think of Naruto. Sure, he was of his wife's blood, but at the same time, she insisted that she hadn't had any romances after the oath was given. She had at that time swore that as long as Hades was true to the oath, she would be true to it as long as he was. That was until several years ago when she had returned from a trip to the Sea of Monsters. She had brought back several seeds for her gardens, but also she was uneasy about something. Oziden was like his brother, uneasy of what to do with Naruto. But he was unable to be mad at his wife, as that would make him a hypocrite. So he kept his mouth shut as he did not need to go to the couch tonight. He really wanted to get laid tonight by his wife, and if he messed up he silently vowed to make sure that the boy lived for now. Ares was annoyed at Percy, but was looked at Naruto with interest. Percy, sensing this, stepped between the god's line of sight and Naruto. He still recalled what was said to him by the war god about his brother. Hermes glared at Naruto. Because of the stunt that happened last time in the council chamber, Hermes was forced to clean all the toilets for a week. Then there was the fact that Naruto had shown up his boys with pranks. and messed with the camp's mail and making him follow insane instructions to find them again. How did he send mail to places around the world? He thought as he fumed. After a few seconds, he grinned. Well, at least he has shown that he is a natural thief and prankster. Perhaps I could wiggle out how he did it. And how did he get me to send a stink bomb to my own office? Huh? What was that, Kyuubi? All the immortals stopped what they were doing and stared at Naruto as he started to talk to the stuffed nine-tailed fox. You want to do what? I said I wanted to nap a bit. The fire from the hearth feels so nice on my coat and you will be fine dealing with a wuss with a size problem. But you are better at words than I am. Zzz. Kyuubi, wake up. The Olympians looked at the god of madness as Naruto started to yell at his stuffed toy. He shook his head, signaling that Naruto wasn't crazy, even thought the kid was having a one-sided conversation with the fox. A rather convincing one at that, Apollo thought, as did the rest of the gods. Apollo could have sworn on the sticks that the shadow of the stuffed toy was of a massive fox the size of the room, but after blinking, it vanished to the size of what it should be. Enough. Zeus roared at Naruto, tired of listening to the boy's voice. Hera, Persephone and Amphitrite, explain yourselves. Especially you, Hera. How is this demigos your son of all your lineage? As one, as thought they had rehearsed, the queen spoke, we don't know. Hera looked at her husband straight in the eyes with anger. Unlike you, my dear husband, I have never laid with a mortal or immortal other than you. I only learned of Naruto here during one of my social meetings with some mortal women. How about you, Persephone? Or you, Amphitrite? Do either of you know how this demigod came to be? I became aware of him when my husband claimed Percus there. Poseidon rubbed his head sheepishly as his wife sent him a small glare. But I have no idea. Persephone, do you have any idea? The queen of the underworld was silent. I discovered Naruto here when he was a newborn near a village that was inflamed. Thanatos was summoned there by a mortal for some deed that he has not let past his lips. I was in the area in what the locals call the Forest of Death when I felt as if something was different. Intrigued, I followed the feeling to a clearing where a baby laid, a man hovering over him with a knife held up to kill. Before I could interfere, an old man stopped him. After a few words, the men took the baby to the village. So I knocked them out and took Naruto. I then teleported Naruto to New York and went back to the clearing to look for any reason why I felt my power in the boy. Did you? Questioned Zeus. As the gods listened, Naruto had discovered Hestia and was munching on a cookie that she gave him. Percy deadpanned at his brother while wishing for a cookie himself. A blue chocolate chip one at that. His daughter shook her head. All I found were two bodies of a man and woman. Both mortals, but… What is it? Asked Athena. When I checked the woman's body, I felt traces of an immortal. So we have a mystery on our hands. Do you think that whoever the immortal was, he or she had a hand of Naruto's birth? Apollo asked the question that was on the minds of all present. The immortals were more worried than the two brothers. A demigod whose coming into being that was a result of interference meant someone was hoping to use the boy for something in the future. But for what? Seeing that this meeting only brought up more questions than answers, Zeus chose to dismiss the demigods. However. Hey, perverted old guy. Why are you upset that I am the child of your wife anyway? Last I checked, you are the unfaithful one of the marriage, not her. I will enjoy making him suffer. Zeus thought as he glared at Naruto before flashing out. Several of the gods also flashed out, leaving only Poseidon in the room along with the queens. Percy and Naruto looked at the four immortals, who were no longer 10 feet tall, but were still taller than the brothers. The Sea King cleared his throat. You did well, my son. Thank you, sir. Amphitrite looked over the son of her husband. I am still not sure what to think of you, Percus, as you are the product of my husband's lack of restraint. And no, you will not say your favorite saying in front of me right now. Poseidon deflated at that remark. But you are also the brother of my son, so I ask that you keep an eye on him. I will, Lady Amphitrite. Percy said with a bow. Hera was silent. She studied the brothers. Naruto was leaning on his brother, falling asleep. Perhaps having him won't be so bad, she thought as she looked at her and her fellow queen's son. It will give me a chance to understand why the rest of the council has demigods. Artemis might not have children of her own, but her hunters are like her daughters, so I say it counts. So Athena blessed you while Ares cursed you, huh? I wonder what she gave you. Poseidon said softly as looked at the duo. Percy rubbed his brother's back as Naruto slowly fell into the graces of Morpheus's domain. Sensing that the boys were tired, he teleported them to camp. Percy sharpened his blade riptide as he thought about his summer at Camp Half-Blood. All in all, it had been the most memorable summer he had ever had. Looking over to the rock climbing wall, he saw Naruto racing one of the strolls to the top. Snicking to himself, he tested the blade's sharpness. Satisfied, he turned his blade back to its pen form and pocketed it. But strange, when I first arrived, all I wanted was to get away from the seemingly lunatic people here. Percy chucked as Naruto made it to the top first and dumped paint all over the son of Hermes. Now that I have to go along with the rest of the part-time campers, I feel as if I am leaving home again. Heading towards the training field to get some last-minute practice, Percy heard the sounds of someone training and went to investigate. "Take that, Connor." Naruto crowed at the son of Hermes as he wiped the pain from his eyes. Smirking, Naruto raced to the side closest to the forest and jumped off. While he couldn't fly, Zeus was a jerk. Naruto found out he could glide through the air and land safely. He took it as a power he got from Hera, as she was the queen of the heavens. He even thought he couldn't fly. Naruto was happy to have what he got. Water balloon assaulting is so much fun when you are above your targets, he thought with a grin. Landing on a branch, he raced through the branches of the trees, using his arms and legs to move much like a primate. Kyuubi was a great teacher to teach me tree racing. Using a branch as a springboard, Naruto cleared the tree tops and landed on the top of a large pine. Looking around, Naruto felt as if he was an assassin from Assassin's Creed or a ninja. Seeing the world from his spot in the middle of the sea of trees, Naruto felt most at home. The way the trees moved in the wind reminded him of water, and the lowering of Apollo's chariot cast lots of shadows to hide in. Closing his eyes, Naruto tried doing the trick that Kyuubi called chakra sensing and tried to find the fox. Feeling the nine-tailed critter, Naruto leaped from his spot and landed near its hiding spot. "What's up, kid?" Dust was enjoying the view before we have to go back home to mom. Naruto took out a pair of ham sandwiches and gave one to Kyuubi. Kyuubi said thanks and started to eat the one it was given. "I'll miss it here. School isn't as fun as it is here. The girls at the school are too formal at times and don't like to roughhouse as much as the girls here. They're just mortals, very weak ones at that, kid. They also have to protect the reputation of the school too." "Yeah, mom said in her letters to me that I may be going to the same school as Big Bro this coming school year as they had a opening. But she has to deal with the paperwork and I will be going to the one I have been going to until it's all cleared." Kyuubi lazily took a bite out of its food as Naruto talked. Then Kyuubi. "There's a giant caterpillar about to take a bite off your butt." "What? Where?" yelled Kyuubi as it tried to find the caterpillar tails together as it tried moved one way then another. "Kill it." Naruto slammed his foot on the ends of Kyuubi's tails, causing the tailed beast to scream in pain. "You know what, you don't appreciate it a joke," Naruto stated as he raced away from Kyuubi, who was enraged and wanting blood. Ducking behind a tree, Naruto watched as his mad friend raced into the distance. That was close. Seeing as he was near the creek, Naruto headed towards it to say hi to the nymph that lived there. As he walked, he noticed that something was off. Thinking it was his nerves, Naruto walked to the edge of the forest and came upon Luke and his brother. Raising his hand, Naruto stepped out and called out to the older boys. Percy's eyes widened as he recalled what the oracle told him. "You shall go west and face the god who has turned. You shall find what was stolen and see it safely returned. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. And you shall fail to save what matters most in the end. Naruto, run." Before Naruto could respond, Luke suddenly appeared behind him with his sword. Percy's eyes widened as Luke pulled his sword arm back. Naruto cried out in pain and shock as Luke thrust his sword up to the hilt into Naruto's body. Dabbing Naruto by his hair to keep him from falling, Luke called out to Percy. "Sorry, Percy, but it looks like you failed to protect your family after all." "Percy," Naruto called out to his brother weakly as his body tried to keep him alive. Luke pulled on Naruto's hair, causing the younger boy to cry out. Percy's heart lurched in his chest as Naruto blood started to show through his clothes. "Help. You know, I was going to summon a monster to kill you, but this is so much better." Luke gloated. "But when Naruto came to our little spot I recalled what you told me when we first met, how your mother tasked you to protect your brother. I wonder how she will look at you when you tell her he died. All that work to make sure that your brother was safe from a war, such a waste." Percy's blood froze as Luke shifted the blade, causing Naruto to cough up blood. "You know, I really wish you did take up my offer to join me and the Titans. But then I won't have gotten the chance to kill Naruto here." Luke grinned darkly as he saw the rage in Percy's eyes. "But I really must be going." "You aren't going anywhere." Percy screamed at Luke as he wiped out his sword. TSK Percy. Don't you care what happens to your brother?" Percy looked at Naruto, who looked at his brother in the eyes. "Doit, brother." Naruto's eyes closed as the pain overwhelmed his senses as he used the last of his energy to speak. As darkness closed on Naruto he could see his brother heading straight for him and Luke. Nearby Kyuubi watched as Naruto fell unconscious by blood lost. Troublesome ape child. What a day it is," thought Kyuubi as the fox lazed on the grass under an oak tree blowing bubbles. The early morning wind went through its fur as it carried the scents of the city. Apollo's chariot slowly rose as if the god was still waking up from whatever the god did at night. Hick. Kyuubi looked up from blowing his bubbles to see Naruto walking towards him, looking worried. Kyuubi. I have the hick. What is it? What do you have? A $10 bill. A new comic book. What? Kyuubi asked Naruto. The hick I have the hick the hick the hick. I love doing this. Kyuubi thought without shame and a large grin on its face. So do you think we will be able to post another chapter soon, Naruto? I think the natives are getting restless. Naruto glared at his friend, or at least tried to. I don't think you're funny Kyuubi. Help me. Fine then, I may be able to come up with an idea after I'm done helping you. Stop with the talking, to thin, air Kyuubi. Fine. Here's what we'll try first. They say drinking a glass of water upside down is supposed to help. Naruto raised an eyebrow at Kyuubi as he hiccuped. It could help. What the heck. I'll try, it. So are you ready for school today? Kyuubi asked as the duo walked towards home. It's yours and Percy's last day there. I think so Kyuubi. Naruto grumbled as he walked. But I wish that Percy and lay off my back. They are only worried for you, Kit. Luke nearly killed you, and if it wasn't for Percy and Jupiter, plus my help, you would have died. You were in the care of Chiron for a week in critical care. Your adoptive mother was in hysterics, and Mr. D had to put her asleep to get her to stop choking the centaur when she found out. Oh, yeah. Naruto semi-recalled that when he woke up, Chiron had a neck brace on, and Sally Jackson was in the chair next to him asleep. Percy told him what happened as Chiron ran as soon as he saw Sally waking up. Mom was angry and was yelling a lot. I think mothers do that because they are scared. Mom was scared. Mom doesn't get scared. She's mom. You did tell her that we were outside, right? I thought you did, idiot. Baka, I thought you told her. She's hicking to kill me. Sucks to be you. Maybe I'll be lucky. Kyuubi shrugged. Perhaps, but don't blame me so you can get out of trouble. Naruto slowly opened the apartment door as he tired to sneak in. Well, as best as one can with hiccups. Closing the door and locking it, Naruto sighed with relief. He frozen in place as he heard the groaning of the floorboards from the master bedroom. Tiptoeing to the room, Naruto peeked in to see his mother entering the bathroom. Safe. He thought. That was until he heard his mother through the bathroom door. Naruto, go wake up your brother, will you please? Why yes, mom. Naruto said as he clenched his heart as he tried to clam down. You have the hiccups, honey. Try to drink a glass of water, and if that doesn't work, I'll give you a spoonful of sugar. Don't do it yourself, you hear me, young man? Yes, mom. With a sigh and a Naruto walked to the kitchen and grabbed a cup. After filling it, he looked at Kyuubi. How the heck, I supposed, to drink, this side down, Kyu. I think you are meant to lean over the drink from the other side. Oh. Kyuubi bit the side of his mouth to stop from laughing as Naruto was drenched from head to toe. Thanks Kyuubi, but I, have water up, my nose. What do you want to try next? Try to, scare me. Okay, I think I can do that. Clearing its throat, Kyuubi began to list of things. There is a hole in the ozone that is bombarding the land with UV radiation. Terrorists are trying to find new ways to cause mass devastation. We are polluting the sources of water we use to drink and the air we breathe with gases that would tour the world into a sauna. The government is spying on its people and is stockpiling the information to plan for the subjugation of the nation's new generations by dumping down the current masses. The gods are preparing for a new world war with the Titans and Rouge gods. There are mass shootings every month or so. I mean, surprise me. Naruto grumbled with a sour look on his face. Those don't scare you? Wow, here I thought that you would be affected by what is being talked about on the media. Ring ring. Naruto and Kyuubi looked at the telephone. Before Naruto could answer, his mom walked in and answered. Hello, oh hello Chiron, I see. Aha. Naruto saw her looking over her shoulder. I understand they will be upset, you know. No, I understand perfectly, goodbye. What was that about, mom? Naruto asked. Sally Jackson sighed and pulled her son into a hug. I'll tell you after Percy wakes up. Is that okay, honey? Sally said softly as she rubbed Naruto's back with her hands with love. He needs to hear this too. Okay. Sally laughed and stood up. You still have the hiccups, huh, sunshine? Let's see if I can take care of that. Going through the kitchen to get what she needed to help Naruto and make breakfast, she noticed that Naruto had a worried expression on his face. Honey, is something wrong? Is that bully picking on you again? Mom. Naruto cried out as he watched her get the sugar out. I said, hick that, hick I'll take, hick care, hick of it. Hick. I see. Naruto scowled as his mother nodded her head. So that kid was picking on you and you're worried that he will do something today. I thought I told you to tell a teacher or do what that anti-bullying stuff. I, hick, tried mom. Hick, he, hick did and apostrophe t hick won't stop. He and, hick, his group, hick, call me, hick, a, hick, a was and, hick, make fun, hick, of me cause I play with, hick, the girls. I see but don't you like playing with the girls honey? Sally tried to come up with the right words to tell her upset son. I know that so of them enjoy your company very much. Naruto's expression went to downcast. That's not, hick, the point. He spoke with clenched fingers. Sally signed, Kyuubi did too, not that she noticed. I know dear. Now open that mouth of yours so I can help you get rid of those hiccups. Naruto opened and let her place the spoonful of sugar in his mouth. There. Now run that cute face upstairs and wake up Percy. It's the last day of school. Naruto nodded and raced off, Kyuubi right on his heels. So how are you going to wake your brother up today? I'll do it like, hick, mom told me to first, hick, then my way. So like an elephant. Seems like a better plan than me jumping on him, hick. Now hush. Percy lied in his bed slumbering. Every few seconds his hands or eyelids would twitch. So deep in Hino's and Morpheus's domains that he did not stir when the door opened. He also did not awake to the hands that shook his shoulders. Moaning, he turned over and covered his head with his pillow. Percy. Zzz. Come on Percy wake up. Naruto glared at his brother as Percy snored under his pillow. Growling, Naruto walked towards the closest that the brothers shared. As he walked, he noticed the air shimmering outside the window for a second before disappearing. Ignoring it, Naruto opened the closet doors and grasped what he was looking for. Walking towards the end of the bed, Naruto took a deep breath in and blew his horn. Bee-oo. Ai. Screamed Percy as he flew out of his bed, ears ringing. His eyes darted around the room, looking for the elephant that woke him up. His eyes landed on the form of his brother on the ground, laughing his head off. Why you? Percy launched his pillow at Naruto's face and followed suit. The two boys started to tumble around the room, fighting with each other as Naruto tried to fend his brother off from tickling him. After a minute of this, Naruto raced away laughing. Percy growled as he got up from the floor. Dropping his PJs to the floor, Percy heard an eep from outside his window. Looking towards it he could have sworn there was blood hanging in midair before it disappeared. That dream must be making me see things. Percy thought as he got dressed and left the room. I hope Grover is alright. Morning Percy. Sally called out to her son as she carried a plate of food to the dining room table. Percy grunted as he glared at his brother. I hope that you have a better attitude for school today Mr. Grumpy Pants. And Naruto don't blow your horn so early in the morning. Some people are trying to sleep. Yes, mama. Percy narrowed his eyes at the innocent angel look Naruto was giving his mother. Reaching over he swatted the back of Naruto's head. Ow Percy. That's for waking me up like you did. Percy stated as he started to eat waffle. Their mother walked in carrying a cup of coffee and her food. Now boys today's the last day of school so let's get off to the right foot K. Noticing that Percy wasn't eating as fast as he usually did she looked at him as something wrong dear. I think Grover's in trouble. Percy began telling her and his brother about the dream he had before woken up. Sally pursed her lips as Percy spoke. She was still upset after what happened the last time her children were at the camp. Grover's a big sadder now Percy. Besides we would have heard from camp Sally trailed off as if trying to find the right words to say. Never mind. What is it? Percy asked, seeing that her shoulders were tense. Nothing. Tell you what you two. How about after school we go to the Rockefeller Center to that shop you like Percy? Tyson can join us in celebrating the passing of 7th grade. Naruto gasped for breath and tried to wiggle free from the clutches of the monsters that held him in place. At the other side of the cavern room, Naruto wasn't sure what to call it, Kyuubi was on the floor in hysterics. Why was the fox having a good old time? Because of what Naruto was trapped by of course. Only you kid could try to escape from that. Kyuubi snickered into a pause and looked at Naruto. Naruto's gaze, if it could, would have vaporized the fox. Help me Kyuubi. Naruto hissed at his friend so that his captors wouldn't wake. A snake tail suddenly wrapped around him and pulled him close to the owner of the tail. Jaya. Foxy smells good moaned the monster as it rubbed its cheek against Naruto's in its leap. Neither Cantor thought of blue-faced Naruto as he tired to wiggle his way free. To Kyuubi's delight and Naruto's misfortune, Naruto's actions only caused the monster to hold onto the boy tighter and press his face against its chest. Only you kid Kyuubi thought as Naruto tried to escape the overly affectionate monster. How did this happen to me? The 9-year-old asked as he gasped for breath, only to pull back into the female monster's assets, or lack of. His mind flashed back to the last several days where it all began. Sally Jackson looked at her sons. Naruto was stuffing his face with eyes, while Percy looked like she took the rug out from under him. She didn't blame him, Percy had his heart set on going to camp this summer and she felt bad doing to him. But with the problems Chiron said that were going on, she knew that it wouldn't be proper. Not until she's sure that Naruto would be safe as well. "But mom," he began before being cut off by a look from his mother. "Don't you but mom me, Persis. I know you want to go back to camp so you can train and see your friends." "That's not the only reason," Naruto voice sing-songed out. Sally looked at him with her eyebrow tilted and a confused look on her face. "Oh?" Naruto grinned and it took only a few seconds for Percy to figure it out. "Why, my little cookie monster? 'Cause Percy gotta finish that and you're a dead man." Percy hissed into Naruto's ear with his hand covering his brother's mouth, his other hand in his pocket fingering Riptide. Naruto eyed his brother as he mentally went through his options and chances of survival. Percy's eyes narrowed as Naruto mouthed, "What's in it for me?" "Percy has a what?" Sally slowly raised her mug of coffee to her lips, enjoying her eldest squirm in his sit. She mentally noted to punish him for threatening his brother, perhaps by having him help her with her turn to host ladies' night. However, she knew that this was not the time or the place to push for information, as her youngest looked like he needed help to escape from his brother. "Nothing, Mom," Percy said hurriedly with a push. "Or not. This may be the better punishment," Sally Jackson thought as she stared at Percy. "Oh, okay then. The reason that I want you both home today is that your uncle is coming over later tonight. He was going to be in the neighborhood and I thought it would be nice to see him again." "Uncle Max?" Percy rolled his eyes at Naruto's excitement and looked at his mother questioningly. A few years back when Naruto was 5 was his and Percy's first time meeting the brother of their mother. Sally rarely spoke of him and probably would have never if she had only Percy to take care of. But with 2 boys and a walrus that looked at her youngest son in a very questionable manner, Sally was forced to ask for his help. Uncle Max was an interesting person. He was Sally Jackson's elder brother by a few years and had a background that she refused to tell her children. He had a huge heart and spent most of his time traveling doing his work with the Red Cross. He was the one to introduce Percy to chemistry and helped him with his dyslexia so that Percy wouldn't go around working with dangerous chemicals, not knowing which was which. Max made sure to test Percy every chance he got to make sure his nephew was handling them correctly. As for Naruto, Max brought cooties from around the world for him to try. The sugar rush that Naruto had gotten due to the cooties made him go on a pranking spree that lasted for a week. Needless to say, Sally was not pleased to find out that her brother was the cause for her and Gabe's headaches. Gabe was so traumatized by the event, he actually went to work and overtime for a total of 7 months. "Yes, Uncle Max." Sally sighed. "He is passing by and thought it would be nice to see the family again. Also, he is going to bring your cousin over so you two will be on your best behavior." Naruto hissed at the mention of his cousin. She was the bane of his existence and scared him. Percy looked like he swallowed a lemon and paled as he looked at his brother in pity. Looking at the time, he realized that he had to go to class. "See ya, Mom." Sally smiled and gave her son a wave goodbye. "Remember to come home after school." "I know. Mom." Sally looked at Naruto's pleading blue eyes. "Please say that you are kidding that she is coming over. Please, Mom." "What's wrong with her, honey? She's an angel and such a proper young lady. I do believe that she will make a man real happy one day." Sally smiled as she thought of her niece. Patting Naruto's head and not seeing the expression on his face, she continued to talk. "Besides, you two are cute together and Max said that she misses her cousin. Now head to your room and get your things together, young man." Naruto dashed as fast as he could to his room. Opening the door, he wasn't surprised to see Kyuubi reading one of his comic books. "Kyuubi. We have SOS. My cousin is coming over." "What?" yelled the tailed beast as he nearly snapped his head from his spine to look at Naruto. "The one that is a fury in mortal flesh." "The same." Both of them shuddered in fear. "What are we going to do?" "As soon as I get home there will be a meeting for all the members of GROSS," Naruto declared as he got his books into his bag. "Now help me get ready for school, you wimp." "The wimp? Who here locked themselves inside the closet the last time she was here? You hid in the washer and dryer for most of the time she was here." "Not my fault, it was bath day. Unlike you, I try to stay on a steady schedule for them. Baths are evil and you know it." Kyuubi rolled its eyes at Naruto. "So do you have a plan to get rid of her this time?" "Of course I do," Naruto declared. "At least I will," he said sheepishly. Kyuubi snorted and smacked its head with a tail. A few hours later. Naruto slammed his head into his desk. "So bored," he moaned as he just left his head there. The students around him rolled their eyes as the teacher droned on and on about the test they took the day before. Naruto tilted his head to the side to look at his seat neighbor to the right of his desk. His neighbor giggled as she tried not to pay attention to Naruto's face. Stealing a glance to make sure the teacher wasn't paying attention, she leaned over to Naruto. PSST, pay attention Naruto. It's the last day of school and you look like you are being drained of your life. Naruto groaned as he looked at Mia. She was an exchange student from somewhere that Naruto forgot about as he was usually distracted by her red hair and amber eyes. Like today, her eyes were so pretty and as the sunlight from the window shined in her hair, it practically glowed. Says you. You're the ace student here and the teacher's pet. Mia blushed and then glared at Naruto. Shut up and pay attention and are you coming this weekend? Naruto rolled his eyes and looked at Mia, then shrugged. I don't know. Hopefully I will be able to unless something happens. Naruto went back to staring at the diagram that the teacher was drawing on the chalkboard. He idly wondered what his brother was doing and when Percy was going to come save him from school. If he hasn't already gotten into trouble. Percy yipped as a flaming dodgeball streaked by him, setting his gym shorts on fire. Tyson and him were the only two not freaking out about the monsters that were lunging exploding dodgeballs. As he weaved and dodged the balls of doom, he idly thought that this could be a great activity for the camp. The flaming dodgeballs, not the whole monster eating the demigod's burned flesh part. Twisting his body, Percy narrowly got missed by a ball for Skull Crusher. With a smirk, he slammed his leg on the floorboard and darkly chuckled as the other end of the board hit between the monster's legs. Bonus score. 100 points Percy thought as he watched the monster fall to the ground in pain. Too bad he won't die from that, but so worth it. Grasping the now broken board, he thought of his choices. If it wasn't for the fact that he now had a makeshift weapon, he would have had one of the monsters throw a ball at the locker room doors so that he could get to Riptide. But now Tyson, throw it at the pipes. He yelled as he snapped the board into two pieces, one for each hand. Nodding, Tyson threw his last ball at the ceiling. His aim was true as the ball exploded against the pipes. Water poured down across the gym floor and as soon as it hit his skin, Percy felt the weariness fade away. With his renewed energy, he coated the wood with a layer of razor-sharp eyes and settled into a fighting stance. While not the most elegant weapons or well made, Percy knew they would serve his purpose well enough to kill the monsters. The monsters eyed him as they got ready to fight. At an unseen sign, Percy charged. He raced forward at a dead sprint and used Sloane's face as a springboard, hearing a stiffening crunch as the bully's nose broke. Spinning to avoid one of the balls of doom, he brought down the makeshift weapon in his left hand and had the spike at the end pierce the monster's head from above. Still moving, Percy used the one on his right to block the fist of another unnamed monster before slashing it with his other. Both monsters crumbled to dust as Percy continued to move. As he Friday idly wondered why the monsters looked so surprised at his fighting skill, like they thought he would be weaker or less skilled than what he was showing. And I would be if not for the constant sparring I have had with Naruto over the school year. As the son of Poseidon went through the monsters like a blender, hacking and slashing, Percy noticed that the teachers were trying to open the doors to the gym. Frowning as he blocked an explosion with one of his weapons that broke due to the usage and wear, he wished that the gods would go easy on him. Then again maybe not. As the last monster was able to sweep him off his feet. Nah, he hasn't had any problems so far this year. Titch must be going easy on him for once. Naruto rolled his pencil on his desk and checked the time. 5 more minutes to go. I can't wait that long. The whole class cheered when the bell rang, stopping the teacher from his monologue. In seconds, the various 4th and 5th graders raced out the doors to the playground where the festival was set up. Soon the whole area was full of children having fun with the things to do. Naruto raced to the food area and grabbed himself a slice of pizza. Mia walked up to him chewing on some candy with her sisters on either side of her. Come on Naruto, you have to come to the party. Whined Mia as she latched onto his arm. She then flicked a lock of her red hair to the side. She then pouted cutely. Please Naruto. I don't know Mia. My family is having guests over and mom would be upset if I skipped out on her. I'll let you know as soon as I can. Mia gave Naruto a teary-eyed puppy look. But foxy you have to come. My mom is on my tail about you and really hopes you can make it to dinner. Ram and Ram looked at each other as they watched their older sister try to convince Naruto to come to dinner. Seeing that Naruto was not changing his stance on the subject, they chose to help him out. Say sis, Naruto looks like he needs some space. Say sis, Mia need to let him have some space. Mia glared at her sisters. Why do you to do that? Say sis, what is talking about? Ram asked her sister. Ram looked at her sister. Say sis, she looks upset. That's it. Mia lunged at her sisters who raced away giggling. Naruto sighed in relief as he went back to eating his pizza. Girls are troublesome. He declared in his thoughts as he ate. After finishing his pizza Naruto joined in his fellow schoolmates in the festival having fun. As he went from event to event, something told him something wasn't right. Like the feeling of a bad storm heading in before it hits. That feeling was dashed as he discovered the cache of cookies that the teachers were trying to hide from the students so they could hand them out when everyone was leaving. It took 3 teachers and the officer to hide the cookies from the mouth of one Naruto Jackson. Unluckily for them, his fellow schoolmates noticed and soon the school became a battlefield for the ownership for the cookies. No one was hurt too badly and nothing was damaged, but the students were forced to head home as they had been worn out from all the running and fighting. Naruto said his goodbyes to his fellow classmates and friends and wished them luck over the summer. Sitting by the front door with his bag, Naruto waited for Percy to pick him up from his way home from school. After a while however, Naruto found himself in front of his mother who was not happy. Tartarus. The pit of the underworld in Chasm. It is a place where no god or demigod dare enter. It was the home of the enemies of the gods and the primordial who was the pit itself. No one other than the denizens of the place knew what Tartarus looked like. The 6 original gods had an idea on what it looked like when they freed their relatives from the Carav camp during the last year. However, that was from an age-long past, and even the first 6 had more or less had forgot what was in the pit. Only Hades had a clearer memory than his brothers and sisters. And also knew that there were things in the pit that were far worse than anything the gods had ever faced. Now it was the home of the Titan Lord himself, broken but very much aware of his surroundings and the outside world. However, the Titans were not the only ones who were enemies of the gods. 2 orbs glowed in the dim light of the pit as the owner looked at his prey with hunger. He did not know how long he had been in the pit, but he knew that it was a long time. Raising his meat cleaver, he killed the monster and started to divvy up the meat before it could dispel. Not enough, he thought as he started to eat. How he, the bane of the fates, now had to survive on meager scraps when once he was feared by mortals and monsters alike. Using the rib bone of a hellhound to pick his teeth, Thune thoughts went back to his project and how it would aid him against the fates. It was worth the years spent in the pit. When he and his fellow gigantes had first arose, he had found something the sun god had lost. Vials of immortal blood. And not just any blood, blood from when the gods were young. Of course the fates had stopped him and destroyed the majority of the vials, but he was the bane of fate. He had hid several of the vials just in case of that event. Prometheus was also a help, having traded secrets to demigods of the past to gain samples of gods and his fellow titans that were trapped by the gods. And now I am here in the pit trapped. Father was able to give me a few minutes to leave and talk to him and come back before the gods noticed I was free. Thune sighed. Now I have to wait until the titans are done weakening the gods so we can arise. Perhaps this will allow my projects to grow stronger before I revel to its destiny. The surrounding area echoed as Thune chuckled darkly. Prometheus would set each one of the experiments against each other to see which one was worthy of become his, the giant of anti-fate, champion. Naruto cowered in the seat as his mother drove him home. He did not know what was wrong, but Naruto knew by judging by her face that she was livid with someone. Hopefully not me, Naruto prayed in his head as his mother turned the car onto their street. Sally Jackson glanced at the rearview mirror. Have you seen Percy at all today? Naruto shivered at his adopted mother's tone. I haven't seen him since he left for school, Mom. Sally Jackson's hands tightened around the steering wheel. Even with non-mortal means. No, Naruto looked at the back of Hi Mother's head as he was riding in the back. Why are you asking me? Are you mad at me? Because of what your brother did earlier I am upset, honey. Sally's face relaxed as she let out a sigh. I was hoping for a ladies' day out and pampering before your guests come tonight. However, the police came and brought me into questioning about your brother being a terrorist. And let me tell you, I was hoping for that spa appointment today for the past year. She finished with a bitter tone. Naruto nodded as he got out of the car. When Sally was released by Hades, he had gifted her with an all-expensive paid spa, massage treatment and makeover at New York's finest. When his mother found out, she went into hysterics over the news. After all, even if it was until a year, it was more than what she could ever afford, as the price would have been at least $1 million due to the line to get in. Now she would never get to have her special day. Percy suddenly felt as that he should avoid his mother and any female immortal for the next several weeks. He gulped as Annabeth slowly reached for a baseball bat with a glint in her eyes when he had told her that he had forgotten to bring his brother home from school. Was it his fault that she had asked what would happen if he didn't do so, and he answered. Traitors. He roared in his mind as the child of Athena's shadow seemed to fill the room and cover her features. The said traitors were Chiron and Tyson, who had fled as soon as he had finished explaining to his fellow demigod. Annabeth, can't we talk about this? Her face, if possible, darkened more. No. Percy's screams of pain filled the camp and the surrounding area as Annabeth delivered female justice to the son of Poseidon. Sally Jackson suddenly felt as if the universe has given her oldest a lesson. Can you race ahead and unlock the day, Naruto? I need to grab the groceries. Sure thing, Mom. Naruto raced away, but not before giving his mother a big hug. Sally laughed as her youngest tried to cheer her up and affectionately rubbed Naruto's untidily blonde hair. "Love you, Mom," he stated as he let go. "Love you too, honey." Sally cracked a smile as Naruto raced away. Now to get these inside, she thought as she glared at the groceries. Kyuubi's eyes snapped open as the familiar scent entered its nose. He's late today. Oh well, time for a quick stretch. Getting up slowly, the nine-tailed fox bent and twisted its form as it awoke from its nap. "Ah, that's the spot," it said as one of its vertebrae snapped back into place. A good stretch is something that is great after a nice nap. Now to greet Naruto. The fox slowly and stealthy made its way towards the front door, tail slowly swishing back and forth. As he slowly went towards the hall, the fox heard a noise coming from the window. "Now what?" the Bijuu muttered as he started to change directions while sticking to the shadows. Kyuubi smirked as he saw Naruto entering the apartment via the fire escape. "Aye. Naruto screamed as his friend came down on him, fangs and claws extended. Soon the duo were fighting and rolling around the apartment. This was the scene that Sally walked in on with the groceries. Rolling her eyes as Naruto play fought with his toy, she went to put things away. "Remember, Uncle Max and Sarah are going to be here in about an hour. So make sure you clean your room and the bathroom, Naruto." Naruto weakly groaned in reply as his friend sat on him, ending the fight. "And make sure you take a bath." "Aw, Mom. Don't awe me, young man. You're filthy and I want you to look presentable to your family. Now march." Naruto grumbled as Kyuubi got off him. Heading towards the hall, he glared as he passed his nine-tailed friend. "This is your doing, jerk." "My doing?" Kyuubi snapped as he dusted himself off. "I'm hungry. Your mother didn't feed me anything and how can you even eat anyway? In fact, you're a massive chakra, how in the wisdom of the gods can you eat anyway? Also, you told me that you are sealed inside me yet here you are talking to me." "Humph. I eat because I can. Ask the gods why they eat for all I care, they're masses of energy too." Brat Kyuubi flicked its tails and followed Naruto. "I guess we are having the meeting in the bathroom while you take that bath." Naruto shivered in fear. Muttering too low for anyone to hear, he grabbed his things needed for his bath. As he did so, he remembered what he had to ask his mother about him going to see Mia and her sisters later this weekend. Putting the thought aside, he entered the bathroom. At least he tried. "Kyuubi. Open up." Naruto banged on the door. "Not until you say the password," came the fox's muffled reply. "Why, you know it's me, Naruto." "How do I know for sure?" "It's me, you flea-infested rug. Now let me in." "How rude. I may not let you in at all for that." Naruto looked at the door in expiration. "Fine, I'm sorry for calling you a flea-infested rug. Now please let me in." "Okay, I forgive you." Naruto signed with relief. "Now what's the password?" Naruto growled. Clearing his voice, he began. "Foxes are mean. Foxes are fierce. Kyuubi has teeth and claws that pierce. Foxes are great. They can't be beat. If I was a fox, boy that would be neat." "Go on, what's the next verse?" "He is so dead when I get in there." Naruto thought as he started on verse 3. "I blame Apollo for the poetry that I have to say to the fuzzball." Far away, a certain god of the sun felt as if he had been praised and insulted at the same time. Perhaps I should change from limericks to something else, Apollo thought. Banishing the idea from his mind to the back burner, the god went back to making a new demigod with a raven-haired woman that shared a bed with him. "I feel as if I should be thanking Apollo for something." Artemis spoke out loud as she led her hunters through the woods. After a few moments the feeling passed. "What about Apollo, my lady?" "Nothing's perhaps we should take a rest soon." "Of course, Lady Artemis." GROSS. "This meeting of GROSS will now begin," Naruto declared as he washed his slightly long blonde hair in the tub. "I, Naruto, commanding officer and president for life, hereby pass the stage to dictator for life Kyuubi, who will now read late meetings minutes." "We didn't sing the anthem yet," the fox stated as it shifted its paper pirate hat on his head. Naruto tried not to roll his eyes. "We sing it at the end of the meeting." "But I want to sing it now." Naruto ducked his head under the water. Coming back up, he moved his wet hair off to the sides. "Can't you wait?" Kyuubi growled and started to sing. Out of key. "Oh gross, the most glorious club in the COSMOS. While I may not be able to stay dry, at least I can breathe underwater." Naruto thought as he thanked his mother Amphitrite for the ability. While he wasn't exactly thrilled that he had to be breathing the water he was bathing in, it was better than the fox's singing voice. He could wake the death with his horrid voice. As soon as he was sure it was safe, Naruto came up. "Okay, now that you got that out of your system, can we get to the meeting?" "Fine, I lost the minutes although. Anyway, Commander, our mission is simple in its nature, but hard to commit to. Survive against the sadistic cousin from the Black Lagoon." The lights flickered as the duo shuddered. Sally took a deep breath as she finished Naruto's hair. Stepping back, she looked at her work and gave him a smile. You look nice. Naruto shifted his weight in his clean shorts and yellow shirt that had a black zigzag going horizontal across his middle. He griped his stuffed animal in terror as he watched the clock tick down the seconds until his adopted uncle and cousin came. Did you think on what I asked you about seeing Mia this weekend? I did. Sally was quiet for a moment. And I think that it is alright. You more than earned it, honey. Your brother on the other hand, well, as soon as I drop you off I will be going to the camp to collect him and forbid him from ever leaving his room until the end of time or until I forgive him. Knock knock. They're here. Sally and Naruto said, each with different emotions in their voices. Sally headed towards the door. Coming. Here we go, Kyuubi. It was nice knowing you. Same here, Kit. For what it's worth, you were my best friend. Same here. A male voice came from the doorway. Sally. It's been too long. What if Naruto was the son of Queen Goddess Percy Jackson? End here, and thanks for watching my video till the end.